What's up, everybody? Welcome. Welcome. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, guys. Welcome to another episode of Good Morning Crypto. And today we put on the big boy pants and oh, look at Bitcoin is down, is dumping, is dump. What is up, guys? Big shout out to Guzman in the chat who is timestamping. Oh, for a second there, I switched into Ivan mode. Excuse me. By the way, that was a pretty damn good Ivan. I'm going to clip that and send it to Ivan and see if he gets a kick out of it. Welcome, everybody. Everybody to the limit. Everybody to the limit. It's time to open it up to all the quacks, the loons, never mind, I can't say that word. The spooks, kooks, and crooks that make up the internet. Welcome, all you schizos and all you nerds, dorks, and chads. Today it's any topic you want to cover. I do have some subject matters that we could pull up. We'll kick it off with the discussion of this great timing in terms of this episode. Pope Leo has permitted the Holy See's financial body to use financial institutions outside of the Vatican for investment activities. Oh, heck. They're going back to the old Vatican bank model of allowing other entities, hedge funds and whatever, to take parishioners' donations and Vatican CIA money and try to make a little bit of cash, try to build up that Vatican bag. Coffers might be empty after all of the scandals. And in fact, as we saw in the Gladio text from Paul Williams, that is exactly why the Rockefellers came in with the attempted bailout of the Vatican Bank back in the Gladio scandal. Ugh. Swallowed a seed. Gross, dude. Beyond that, I squeeze lemons into my water and seeds always come out. And even though there's nothing inherently gross about a lemon seed, when you swallow a lemon seed, there's something gross about it. You just don't want small, solid, slimy objects in your water, usually. Anyway, what interesting timing that our boy Leo, Pope Leo DiCaprio, was over here trying to build up the Vatican's bags. They must be emptied. Speaking of bags, turns out, yes, there was a flash crypto crash. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people asking me questions, concerned, they're worried. I am not one bit worried. In fact, what an amazing buying opportunity. Most of you have it backwards. When it crashes, when it dips, that's not when you freak out. It's when you buy. You don't dump all your bags when there's a dip, dog. And I've been successfully buying dips since 2017. It's the easiest way for a non-sophisticated person to long-term do pretty good. I'm not telling you what to do because I'm not a registered financial advisor. However, that's what I do. By the way, this isn't even that big of a crash. If you remember the 2017 cycle, the 2020 cycle, there were massive crashes around 30%. In fact, right before COOF, Bitcoin had collapsed to $3,000. That was crazy. So no need to freak out. It's just hopefully you have some capital stored away and then you can utilize it. Okay, you're raising your hand. We'll go to you. What's up, dog? Yo, this is reality, dude. We're talking to reality himself. Dude, I always wanted to talk to reality. What's it like being real, bro? First, you have to unmute.
Yeah, can you hear me, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get a hold of you. I don't know. I guess I'm from that generation that just doesn't know how to click the right buttons. But I've been meaning to ask you this for a long time, because just like there's a civil war brewing among the Orthodox Christians and the Catholics, in other words, a war of doctrine, a war of worldview, etc. There's also another civil war that's brewing, and that is that a growing portion of Christians of all denominations are now believing, and I'm one of these, that Christ's 1,000-year kingdom has already come and gone. We've got the evidence. We've got the maps. We've got the old world buildings. We've got the world infrastructure that was built out, and that we're actually in Revelation 20.
Okay.
Satan's little season. So what say you, Jay?
Utterly retarded on so many levels. No offense.
Okay. All right. Let's get rid of all the old buildings. Let's get rid of all
the old buildings. What does the old buildings have to do with it? What?
What are you talking about, Jay? How do you think you can build a cathedral? Tell me how a horse and buggy person could build such incredible, and they were all over the world. There are maps of incredible castles and structures that were built from Africa. You go anywhere. Japan. Look at their Japanese diet. It looks like a pantheon. You know,
the diet looks like a pantheon. And what are these 12 sayings?
You mean the exact scriptures?
Are you referring to what's in the scriptures? Are you talking about the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John? What are you referring to?
No, let's not conflate it. Let's talk about the actual scriptures themselves, Jesus' own words.
Okay.
And so you got one right after another, you know. The temple's going to be torn down. Not one stone will be standing on another. And I'll tell you the truth.
All right.
Some of you will not take
Right.
it.
Okay. Hold on. Let's slow down just for a second. Let's rewind to the very beginning because we had an issue with the audio on YouTube, and I really want everybody to hear what you're saying on YouTube because this is a fascinating subject. So you're arguing that the 1,000-year kingdom of Christ already came. You're saying it was on earth, right, at some time in the past, and you're saying that
at 70 AD, yeah. This is the thinking, and this is what's actually proving out according to the maps.
Okay, but hold on. You keep saying the maps, and you blow past that. You start talking about the buildings. What buildings are you looking at, and what maps are we talking about? Help me understand. Take your time.
Okay, Jay, where do you live?
You don't need to know that. Just tell me about the maps and the buildings. What buildings are we talking about?
All of them. The buildings.
All buildings in the world?
No. All the old world buildings. We all can see them. We can see them in Britain. We can see them in Scotland. Before they leveled Dresden.
Okay.
Take a look at the early footage of Dresden. They're all over. They're in Budapest.
Okay.
They're in Japan. They're in Honduras.
So right? I got you. How do we know that? How do those buildings prove that Jesus' 1,000-year kingdom came in 70 AD?
Well, for one, we don't even have the technology to be able to actually build structures like that.
How does that prove Jesus' kingdom, though? Where's the leap there? Explain that.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. Jesus' own words. He only said it doesn't.
So Jesus taught the Tartaria stuff. That's right. Is that what you're saying?
No. The Tartaria was the cover to cover up that the 1,000-year reign of Christ had come. That's what the Great Deception's about in Revelation 20.
Okay, how do we know that the Great Deception is referring to the Tartaria theory?
It's because you take a look. That's the one.
You just take a look. Okay. What if I take a look and I don't get that conclusion? So where am I taking a look? You're just saying stuff, but where is
Jay,
it?
why don't we start with Messiah's words? Why don't we start with Jesus' own promises?
Okay, let's go there. In Matthew 24?
Well, let's just take when the chief priest smacked Jesus on the face.
That's all about Tartaria. The chief priest was like, I'm about to create a Tartaria story. Pat, right?
What did Jesus say when the chief priest, Caiaphas or Caiaphas, I'm not saying his name right.
It's psoriasis. It's pronounced psoriasis.
Right. Yeah, you're much more learned than I am. Right. So what did Jesus respond once he got smacked on the face by the chief priest? What was Jesus' own words?
Something about creating architecture, future fancy buildings. What? Tell me. Remind me.
He says, I tell you the truth. You will see the Son of Man come with his angels and his kingdom.
Okay.
Before you taste death. Many times he told people that were standing there, when will these things be? He says, I tell you the truth. There will be some of you that will not taste death, that will see the Son of Man come in his great glory and kingdom.
Right.
Which happened at 70 AD.
Okay.
When the Romans gathered around Jerusalem.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. So when I go and I read, say, church fathers from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th centuries, like Cyprian or Leo or Augustine or John Damascus, how come none of them speak about any of this and they act like there's an apostolic succession from Peter and the apostles all the way up until their day?
Because right after the 1,000-year kingdom, when Satan was released, he came up on the earth and he saw the earth's infrastructure completely built out. He says, you know what? I'm just going to pick it up from the old Roman Empire. And there was a great devastation.
Did you not hear what I said? Hold on. Those church fathers exist and live in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th centuries. So when I read their writings, they don't talk about any of this and they don't interpret anything the way that you're.
When you read the writings of the person that did the editing of the 36 volumes of the church fathers, you mean that guy? Well,
there's different versions. Oh, how do you know there's no writings of the church fathers?
No, Jay, there is no ancient.
How do you know this?
There's hardly any writings.
How do you know this?
The 15th century.
How do you know this?
Jay,
stop saying my name and tell me how you know that that's the case.
Because 98% of everything that you read is after.
How do you know this? Don't restate the position. Tell me your epistemic justification for that claim. What's the proof of the evidence?
There are no ancient letters.
So that's the 4th time that you've restated the position. So this is just, we're done with that. That was something else. Exactly. The high priest psoriasis created the mythology to cover up Jesus' 1,000-year kingdom with Tartaria, and all history books are fake and gay. We are off to a great start. That was awesome. I love it. Yeah, see you.
Hi, Jay.
Yo.
What's going on?
What's up with you?
What's up with you? Oh, no, I just wanted to jump on here. So you're the expert at tag and presuppositional apologetics. I'm still a baby at it, right? But I decided, like, well, let me go test, see how well I know this. So I went on a bunch of atheist forums. I tried debating them, right?
So,
just to kind of
slow down. I'm not trying to be rude to you, but I did specify and we're not doing tag today. So we can do any of the other topics. I'm just not in the mood to do tag. And the reason is that I figured out on these live streams when you do tag ends up being an hour-long deep philosophical discussion and everybody leaves because it's too technical and it bores everybody to death. So tag is going to be forever now be specified as a separate thing. And maybe I'll also do tag and atheist call-ins or something like that. But we're not doing tag today because I'm not going to spend an hour explaining all the philosophy words and terms to you. I'm not being rude. I'm just saying, like, it's just takes over the whole discussion and we don't really move forward. So no, not mad at you. Nothing wrong with you. Modern apostate. What's up?
Yo, hey Jay.
Hey.
How's it going? wanted to ask, for the whole Bitcoin crash thing, do you think there's any like liability in the sense that when you see, I don't know if the news story is confirmed to be accurate, but the person who shorted the Bitcoin price right before Trump announced the tariffs, do you think there's a...
I mean, I read all those stories. I haven't verified it. I don't know how to verify
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But do you think that just those stories could be potentially fake, just to discredit Bitcoin or all of crypto is kind of just a scam?
I mean, they could be, but I think that kind of FUD is we already passed that phase. We're into institutional adoption, so I don't think that kind of like FUD is going to work anymore. But I don't know. I mean, again, who knows? It could be. I do think that there is a tendency with Trump and people into crypto in the administration. They do, I think, know how to short and long the market when there's these big events. So if Trump announces tariffs, they all know the tariff announcement, but it's not just the insiders in the administration. I mean, I think everybody knows that when Trump announces something to do with tariffs, that makes all the market collapse. But in the case of the person, there could have been insider information, and that's why they manipulated it like that to dump and then buy back right when it crashed. So, but I mean, that's been happening for all of crypto, and it's not just crypto. That's like any market, right? In the long term, though, I'm not worried about it. I agree with Max Kaiser. This is like just a bump in the road on a long road. And again, in 2017, we had 30, 40, 50%, 60% crashes. In 2020, we had 30, 40, 50% crashes. So I'm not worried about it, but it is interesting to look and see what kind of movers and shakers try to manipulate. Jonah, what's up? Yeah, exactly. Like Max Kaiser says, Bitcoin doesn't need Trump. Trump needs Bitcoin. Of course it's going to recover. I mean, we just hit all-time high like a few days ago. So, Jonah, what's up? Unmute. Jonah, unmute.
Yo,
Hey.
what's going on?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Nothing. I just wanted to ask. So I grown up like non-denominational, and I mean I've seen some of your videos, like just recommending books and stuff. But just wanted to ask, like, what's a good place to start looking into Orthodoxy and with well, I mean, it seems like the most consistent paradigm. So I mean, I just would I just go to an Orthodox church and like go from there? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I would say go check out a local Russian Orthodox church, Serbian Orthodox church, Antiochian Orthodox church, Romanian Orthodox church. Check them out. Spend some time there. If you're looking for books, I would say get something like Dr. Clark Carlton's book, the one that's for Protestants, or you could get something like Rock and Sand by Father Josiah. Any of those would be good. Sanctified Survival. You could also watch the documentary, The Icon, which is a 3-hour documentary. It's actually a pretty good introduction to Orthodoxy as well. What's up, Sanctified?
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I love your stuff, man. I just had a quick question. Actually, if I can chip in for the last guy, I started going to the Orthodox Church, the liturgy. You should definitely go to it. Mm-hmm. They commemorate a lot of the martyrs, which I thought was fantastic. I've seen some of the, if you know who Saint Thecla is, are you familiar? Mm-hmm. I went to it was a while ago. I went to a museum that had an actual, ancient iconography of Saint Thecla. And so when my first time going, they commemorated her in the liturgy. Mm-hmm. It was amazing they did that. But my question was, I'm sure you're familiar with Alexander Hislop, right? His Nonsense and the Two Babylons.
Yeah, I read it when I was like 19.
Yeah, my question was, and I have a bunch of books coming in, but are you familiar with any Orthodox scholar that directly challenges his worldview? I have like Yaroslav Pelikan, if you've read his stuff, really good stuff.
I've read it all, yeah. I mean, I don't know about a specific book that addresses the specifics of that book because it's kind of, of Hislop, because it's kind of a silly, nobody really takes that seriously because it's basically just zeitgeist level stuff like, oh, look, here's a risen savior and there's another risen savior in this culture. And so they're all the same risen savior. So the same type of logic that would refute something like zeitgeist is the same type of logic that refutes the silly argumentation of Hislop. Oh, look, the Pope's hat's shaped like a fish head, so it's the worship of Dagon. Like, it's just a bunch of word concept fallacies applied to symbols and liturgical vestments. It's really stupid. But I would say, watch a documentary like we made, or like Lewis made over on Orthodox Shahada, Orthodox Christian worship in the Old Testament, and that'll give you an outline of that the vestments and the symbology and the imagery of the Orthodox Church are not from the pagan world. They're directly from the liturgical worship of the Old Testament. And the early church carried that tradition as well. 300 DC, what's up? Oh, I wanted to say, speaking of that, because people are asking then, what Orthodox church should I go to? Well, our buddy Leo DiCaprio, Pope Leo DiCaprio, is over here making friends with, where was it at? Bart. As we've been saying and warning about, because I actually know and talked to quite a few priests about this. It's not just me making up stuff. Everybody's been aware of this push for the so-called reunion, and Pope Leo is wanting to reestablish full visible communion with the Patriarch of Constantinople. It certainly won't be the whole of the Orthodox Church. It'll really just be the subverted State Department run Patriarch of Constantinople Church. So this is also very timely with the corruption and scandals in the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese in New York that everyone is talking about. I don't know anything about the Greek Orthodox circles, so in America. So this is something that a lot of people on Twitter are talking about, Jim Jotras and others. So you could go to Jim's wall and read about it, exactly what's going on. It's more so money corruption and the Bartholomew and others kind of Elpida Forest cashing in by supposedly selling churches or something. I don't know all the details, but it's just par for the course when it comes to big level corruption and scandals. And, what we've really been warning about and saying was coming for a long time is this ecumenist push for so-called reunion. But the problem is that you can't have a reunion without truth. So this is all a geopolitically motivated reunion. It's not a reunion based around, oh, we've actually worked out the theology of the Filioque and the essence of distinction, and we've worked out the role of the papacy. That's all been pushed aside, and it's akin to the reunion of Florence. So if you go back to the attempted false union of Florence, this is a repeat of that. Just like at Florence, when you had the Medicis and others kind of in the background, sort of engaging in geopolitical machinations to bring about this false union and to suppress the theology and kind of twist the theology at any cost to make it fit into some sort of union formula. The same geopolitical thing is happening now with the State Department influence on the EP, which is exactly why the EP reversed its course and supported the schismatic church in the Ukraine that they just created out of nowhere with Duminko and others who were formerly defrocked schismatics, and to the persecution then of the canonical Orthodox Church in the Ukraine, all of which has been well documented. You've seen, of course, people like lawyers that represent those people on Tucker. I've actually talked to people who know all about this directly. So this is an ongoing thing. We did podcasts on this 7-8 years ago when it really kicked off. So it's all connected, is what I'm trying to say. All this is working together. And there's a lot of very low tier, very naive, silly people in the Roman Catholic and Orthodox world that think that all of this is happening by miraculous divine providence, and it's all so great. And none of those people know anything about the actual theology or ecumenism, how ecumenism is essentially a geopolitical tool. Remember, we just did a 4-hour live stream detailing all of the vast history, as much as we could, of the Vatican's deep inside connections to the CIA and the Mossad and other intelligence agencies, and how this was a key role, this was a key relationship that influenced the documents and the outcome of Vatican II, particularly Nostra Aetate, particularly Gaudium et Spes, which is the papal teaching at Vatican II on socialism and Marxism as its government principle. In other words, they have actually adopted Marxism, socialism, and Gaudium et Spes, and we covered that document many times over. And what's crazy is I think we're at the stage where the only people left in Rome are the ones that are just absolutely fanatical loons who don't really care about the theology. They just kind of want to have their own little grift or their own little marketing scheme or whatever they're up to, because I can't imagine anyone remaining in that system who actually cares about truth unless they're in a sunken cost fallacy. And I say that not out of hatred. I mean, you guys know, still friends with Tim Gordon. I like Tim. I want the best for Tim and his family, but I can't fathom how you're going to find the best for your family in this horrible institution that is a basically global organized crime syndicate run out of Rome. So, why would you want to be like saying, "Oh, Tony Soprano, he's a good guy, he's a good guy. I'm gonna have a communion meal with Tony Soprano. Deep down, he's a good guy, though. He's a good guy, though. Gabagool, good guy. We all gotta get together and be Gabagool good guys together. We're all on the same team, ain't we? Yeah, ain't we?" Anyway, excommunicado, what's up, dog? Tony, hey, listen, Tony Soprano, he brought me some gabagool. He's a good guy. He's a wise guy, but he's a good guy. What's up, man? I'm you.
Hey, Jay.
Yes, sir.
Orthodox here from Serbia. I agree with everything you said. Unfortunately, with Serbia, our church, how can I say? I think it's almost already lost about this ecumenism, modernism, and all this bullshit that happened. You know what's worse for me? They're now in one campaign. They are preaching about everybody can just take Eucharist just like that, without any preparation, without any fasting, without confession.
Yeah, that's so that they can have open communion with all these schismatic and Roman Catholic heretical groups.
Yeah, that's really pissing me off. You know some what church fathers told about those preparation for taking Eucharist? Of course,
that's actually a good question, and I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. Where that's specifically spoken of, I'm sure if you did some Google searches, you could probably find something on that. That's actually really good. I've never been asked that. Where is a patristic quote on preparation for communion? I mean, I think it's just sort of a given that if you look at the canons of like even Nicaea, right? Like in the canons of Nicaea, you can't touch the Eucharist unless you're a priest, and a deacon, I think, is only limited to touch it in certain instances or something. So I think the principle is derived out of even the earliest, canonical law principles, even in Nicaea. And I'm sure there's many other canonical statements that make that clear. I mean, that's why Orthodox Church, we don't do communion in the hands, right? And then Rome at Vatican II switched and started doing this. And I'm aware that there were different liturgical traditions, but one of the reasons why I think some of the Oriental churches, maybe even before the schism, had variations of communion in the hand. But the reason for ceasing that had to do with, people trying to collect it and use it to blaspheme or use it for their magic rituals or whatever. So there's good principles behind why it's revered and treated that way. I mean, Paul says you could die if you don't prepare properly. Well, why would we have open communion if people who are not properly prepared can die from this? It makes no sense. Ward, what's up? But that is a good question about specific references to preparation for communion. I'm not actually sure. Ward, what's up? You gotta unmute, man.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm a Palestinian Christian, Orthodox Christian. I just wanted to raise awareness a little bit. A lot going on in Jerusalem, especially with the Orthodox Church. They're forcing the church to sell Israelis, to sell some of its, buildings.
Yes, I've heard this. I've shared some of the articles and the Instagram posts about this. Correct.
Yeah. I'm a new. I just found out about you last month, so I
It's
haven't
okay.
been paying attention.
No, it's fine. You can talk about it.
Yeah, and like the Armenian quarters also in Jerusalem facing a lot of pressure from Israel, and they would raise tax all of a sudden, and tell them, hey, you're not paying enough or whatnot, and forcing them to sell property so they can make it a Jewish quarters. Just expanding.
Of course,
expanding. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. We're going through a lot, and what's frustrating, especially for Palestinians. We've been there, especially the Christians. Like, my family is one of the biggest in my hometown. I'm from biblical Shepherd's-Field.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 4,000 of us, just my family, and we trace back to the 13th century.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our ancestors say we're even older, but we really don't know. We don't have anything written. But
are you hold on? Are you a vampire? How could you live that long?
Sorry?
It's just a joke, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm not British.
It's a dad joke.
No, you're fine.
How you live since 13th century?
Yeah, you're pretty funny, actually. I like your videos. Yeah, man, no, just my, we just know from some of the writings that some of my family left behind that...
No, I was joking, dude. That's okay. I believe you. By the way, I thought, hold on, John Hagee told me it's actually a good thing that they're making certain Christian quarters of Jerusalem into gay clubs because it's part of the dispensation. Right? I mean, basically Israel is infallible. It's like the Pope for, like, Netanyahu's infallible if you're an evangelical, right?
Yeah. And it's just, for us, especially, the natives of the land, we've had these traditions from the first century, literally from the very first disciples.
Sure.
Some of my family still even speak Aramaic and pray in the same Galilean, Galilean tongue that Jesus spoke.
Right.
So we just don't want to lose these things. I'm saying, like, okay, we're losing the buildings, the stones per se, but we are also being, the living stones, the people. We're losing population little by little. Like, there's only like less than 1% of us Christians in the Holy Land today, and it's just frustrating seeing this happen all over. And what doesn't help too is I don't know, you're probably familiar with this even more than I am. The bishop of the Church of Jerusalem is Greek. He's not even Palestinian. You know how there's the autonomy in Orthodox Church, like the Jerusalem Church, Tolkien Church, the Russian Church, and usually it's either it should be a Greek by nationality in Greece, and in Jerusalem it should be a native Arab Palestinian Orthodox Christian as the head of the Jerusalem Church, but they refuse to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a Greek.
Yeah,
not,
right.
Native, like
Right. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, but it's getting choppy, guys. I'm aware, and we figured out what the problem is yesterday. It's a known issue that OBS has. It is not me. It is not my Boomer Tech. It is not the all the new equipment that I bought. It's a known issue, and there's a little workaround that you can try to do that worked last night when we did our live stream. I had a link on it. I was trying to find that link. So you don't have to message me. I think it will, when I do the workaround, it seemed to work last night, that it would kind of come back. It is not the mic. It is not the cords. It is not the internet. It's not my RAM. We already know what it is. And thank you to the guy who discovered what the issue was. I'm trying to find exactly what it was, because I had it pulled up here so you guys can see, and then you won't fuss at me because we know what it is. And I want to remind you guys too that we have a couple live events coming up. So oh, I put it, I know where it is. I put it on oh shit, I'm not gonna be able to find it. I already increased the buffer size. We've already done all of that. All the stuff you guys are telling me, we already know about it. We've done it all. You don't have to suggest. It's nothing to do with any of that. It's a known issue in OBS. They have a post on the website about it with the new, what's it called? Mac OS Tahoe or whatever it is. And it's not just me, it's everybody. Dang it, where did I save this? Maybe I had it saved in a different browser. Let's see, known issue. Here it is. Yeah, here we go. So this is from Streamlabs status site. Known issues with the audio cutting out or becoming choppy between Streamlabs and Mac. So here you go. And I can keep trying the workaround when we do the live streams. Okay, it's not gonna let me put it in the freaking chat. So here. Is it any better when I tried the workaround there for a second? So, because everybody see this? It is not my equipment. It's not Boomer Tech. Known issue. All of you were fussing and going crazy about me last night. Oh, look at what a retard he is. He can't even work his computers. Look at his shitty equipment. It's none of that. It's none of that. I'm actually computer infallible. I'm like BB to an evangelical. I'm infallible, dog. It's not any better. Complaint. I'm going to write a strongly worded letter to the manager. So you can see right there. See that? Everybody see that? Let me try the workaround one more time. If that works. Let's try this. All right. So it's still choppy. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. All right, how's that? Is that any better? Is that any better? No, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes. All right. It'll probably get a little bit better because no, that was because I was trying to fix. That's the workaround. I'm not in a tunnel. That's part of it. All right, who's next? Christian Logos. The echo was. That's part of it. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, brother?
What's on your mind?
So you know Jonathan Hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ran into him before. There was a recent debate with him and Dr. Joshua Sijwadi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you'd be really interested in it. And this kind of affects me because I live in the parishes that Jonathan Hill attends. And he's like now teaching theology in the churches and all this stuff. But there seems to be like this strong aversion to the monarchical doctrine of the Trinity.
Yeah, and so why are you listening to people who don't have any training or any experience in theology?
No, I definitely don't. I actually was the one debating him like 2 years ago on this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it actually resulted in my priest telling me to take my YouTube down. And then he still continues to teach. But it'd be interesting for you to like review that or to. All right,
well, I'll send you. I have actually a long response that I'll send to you on that topic. So, but thank you for that question. Okay. Yeah, I mean, why do we have PhD people? Even I wouldn't even interact with these people. Like, there's no reason for people of the caliber, you know, the people with PhDs to even entertain and give credence to these people. Roger, what's up? Unmute, Roger.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's on your mind?
I have a quick question. I'm a young Catholic, and I've just been thinking about some things. I was
Mhm.
wondering if you could help me out with the Orthodox side of things.
Okay.
So I've been reading Augustine, and Augustine teaches original sin.
Mhm.
And if I'm correct, Catholicism and Protestantism says that original sin affects the human race, mind, body, and soul. But I'm particularly interested in how original sin affects the mind. So in Catholicism, it seems as if if original sin affects the mind and we can't know what's true or false, or it's hard for us to know what's true or false, it seems as if, like when I was reading Pius X says in his catechism that like the papacy is kind of like an epistemic certifier as to how we know what's true or false.
Sure.
My question is, that's just what I read from Pius X's catechism. I will.
No, I mean, I think that's exactly the basic, simple Catholic position. You know, they think that it's going to give you epistemic certitude.
So my question is, in the Orthodox world, right? If Augustine's right on original sin affecting everybody, affecting the human race, mind, body, and soul, and if the Proverbs of Solomon is right, there's a way that seems right to a man, and he can be wrong.
So Augustine's view is not right. We don't have the Augustinian view. Augustine has a radical view, and if you watch this video that I did right here, it's called St. Augustine, Calvin, Original Sin and Orthodox Theology. I did a whole talk outlining where he made a mistake and where the errors are, and he was influenced by his Neoplatonic thinking. So there is that, and you can watch that right there. Let me try. I could try also briefly starting and restarting. So let's try that maybe, and just All right, so maybe that'll be a little bit better here on YouTube if you just hit refresh. We did this last night and it seemed to work a little bit. So Felix, what's up, dude?
Yeah. Hi, Jay. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask two quick questions, and you've probably been already asked them like zillion times. But so it's Q&A day. It's all right, yeah?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, okay. So the first question, I will just ask questions and then leave, and you can respond later, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is whether you'd seen a video of John Paul II and Bartholomew like chanting the creed together, and the John Paul II won't say the filioque part. It's actually funny. We've been shown this video to us this week in our theology class in university, and I just wondered whether you'd seen it or not. And the second question is, what's your opinion on the Last Temptation of Christ movie? Because
yeah, it's Nestorian, it's Arian, it's blasphemous, it's terrible. So yeah, thank you for those questions. And I think I had heard about this John Paul II and Creed thing, but it was many, many years ago. But no, I've not actually seen the video, but I don't doubt it. Your something? You're unmute. Your opinion sucks. Unmute if you want to talk. Okay. Goodbye. Bird, what's up? Hey, Janet. What's up?
Yo, I was listening to a talk you did with Seraphim Hamilton a couple years ago about the liturgy of the cosmos. And I know that all of the zeitgeist stuff is kind of garbage, but they do get a little bit into the procession of the equinoxes. And I'm curious what your take is on like Jewish astrology, the kind of the stars, etc. And I know in the Bible it says they're set for signs and for seasons, but I don't really understand how that relates to ages and again, I'm not trying to bring up the zeitgeist stuff, except to say that sometimes lies can be wrapped around a little grain of truth. And, they talk about the precession of the equinoxes and like the age of the bull, the age of the ram, the age of Pisces, and then flowing into the water bearer. And I wanted to know what she thought about all that.
Not much. I mean, I don't think that's more of a Hindu kind of, Mesopotamian, pagan, Chaldean, Babylonian type of theory that there's these giant aeons that are governed by astrological ages. I mean, all the ancient world utilized the houses of the zodiac to tell the year and to tell the time. And as Genesis 1 says, God created the movement and the procession for times and seasons. So it's liturgical. But no, it doesn't have anything to do with like Enlil and Enki living 120,000 years, and that we're in the age of Kali Yuga for the next millennia or the next 100,000 years. Or that's all just a bunch of esoteric Hindu gibberish. Hammer of Heretics, what's up? John Damascus doesn't teach on astrology. He's talking about the houses of the zodiac being the means by which the ancient world kept track of times and seasons. So it's not quote astrology. What's up? Unmute. Hammer of Heretics.
How are you, Jay?
Good. What's on your mind?
I have two questions, if
Okay.
you don't mind.
Yeah.
First has to do with proving ecumenicity to
A what?
Orientals. First has to do
Bro,
with
I can't
proving-
understand what you're saying, man. I'm sorry. 300 DC, what's up? Unmute 300 DC.
Yeah, Jay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think a speaker had already spoken about it, because that's part of what I wanted to ask today about the Jonathan Hill's debate with
The what?
the Jonathan Hill's debate
Bro, I
about
can't
monarchical.
I can't understand what you're saying, man. Aaron, what's up?
Hello, Mr. J. Dyer. I have a question about so I'm a Protestant, and I'm wondering, why is the Bible not the only infallible source?
Because the Bible didn't collect itself together. Somebody had to make a decision on what books went into it. And the Bible itself says that the church is the pillar and ground of truth. And the Bible itself attests to tradition in many other places.
So you agree that the preachings of the other, let's say, pastors over here would be considered the truth as well?
Who are the pastors over here? I don't know what you're talking about.
For example, in Catholicism, how you aren't supposed to go against the teachings of the pastors.
Well, as Orthodox, no, I don't follow the teachings of the Roman Catholic pastors. What does that have to do with whether the Bible is the sole infallible authority, though?
Because the Catholics, for example, have quite a history of abusing their power in that sense.
But what does that have to do with whether or not the Bible teaches that it is alone the infallible source?
Because if these people are preaching the word and they're abusing it and making...
But what does the Catholic action have to do with whether the Bible teaches that it is itself the sole final authority? Those are two unrelated things, two different questions.
Because in the Bible, for example, if we look at Matthew, they say that the church is protected.
Yeah, but how do we know what church that is? We think it's the Orthodox Church. Roman Catholics think it's the Catholic Church. But what does any of that have to do with whether the Bible itself teaches what I'm talking about? So it's two different questions. Acting bad in the history of the church has nothing to do with whether or not Jesus established a church with authority that is also infallible. Those are two different questions.
Oh, that's so. All right.
Okay.
I guess I'll ponder about
I tell you what, watch my debate that I did with Dale the Protestant, and a lot of that debate will relate to the questions that you're asking. That's actually a pretty relevant debate for this. Petros, what's up?
Hey, Jay, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I want to ask, on a previous stream, you had mentioned that there are also problems in the Orthodox Church. And is that something that you can kind of elaborate on? And
I mean, I've talked about it tons of times. There's ecumenism, there's liberalism, there's corrupt human beings. I mean,
okay,
what do
okay,
you think
I
of
see
it?
what you're saying. Okay, I see. Okay, fair enough. I'll look for those videos too. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about espionage, geopolitical subversion. I literally talked about it at the beginning of the stream. So, not trying to be rude. It's just maybe he wasn't here when we were talking about it. Lieutenant, what's up, man? And I'm
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro. You
no, you're good. What's up?
Okay, I have a question. I got raised this question by of course a Protestant, but it was basically, so I understand we derive our canon, a lot of it from like Trullo, but I know we don't have like a rigid structure in the canon. It's not like closed, it's more like this is the canon, right? But he was saying like, okay, Trullo doesn't have wisdom but has like Second Clement, but you don't have it. So are you like breaking like the canon? Like I didn't really know.
No, Trullo. It's not Trullo. That Trullo doesn't say that. Trullo lists the canon of Carthage, which is the canon that we have.
Okay, and that includes Wisdom of Solomon, correct?
Yeah, we have wisdom.
Right. Okay. So then, all right. So then, what I would say
it's the apostolic canons that include some of the texts that we don't have.
The apostolic canons. Okay, but
right.
You said
that's from the 4th century. That's a list of canons that was normative. A list of the canon that was normative in the East in the 4th century. The Council of Rome under Pope Damasus has a list that's very close to that in the West that was normative at the 4th century. Trullo is centuries later, and Trullo says we're going to go with the Carthage canon. So it's essentially the same between the East and the West, except for 3rd Maccabees.
Okay, now on 3rd Maccabees though, like I understand that was added a little bit later. Like, what would we say our claim is for doing that as Orthodox?
I'm not aware exactly when it was quote added later. Again, we don't have the Protestant either or view, as you said at the beginning. There's flexibility here. So if one C had 3rd Maccabees for a few centuries and another one didn't, it's not a huge deal for us because we don't limit divine revelation to 66 books like Protestants.
Okay, and then lastly, real quick, so I've had this dumb argument where they'll like say that by anathema we're saying that they're going to hell. Do we have like fathers or like saints that comment on what anathema actually means so I can like show them it's not a condemnation?
It is a condemnation.
But I'm saying like condemnation and like we're saying that they're going to hell for certain.
Well, nobody knows the destiny of people. It's the judgment of the church. So, I mean, you're not going to find... I mean, you're outside the Orthodox Catholic Church. That's what it means. It's not a judgment like it's the final judgment of Judgment Day. It's no different than not being allowed to commune because you're in sin. That's also a judgment. That's also a banning. It's not an anathema. It's not the same thing as an anathema per se, but it's the same principle where you're excluding people for their own good. So people think that anathemas are the church placing a person in hell. It's just the church making a ruling that this person is no longer in the Orthodox Catholic Church, and it's for their good so that they will repent. It's not a second advent great white throne judgment of their destiny. The basis for this is when Paul says, hand the people in the church that are corrupt over to Satan, kick them out. He says it to the Corinthians. The Sardiner, and by the way, all the ecumenical councils have the same principle. So Protestants just have to get over this and realize that if there's one church, that church can delineate the boundaries of who's in that church and who's not. and it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It's not it's not about what you like and what you want. It's about what's true. Sardine, or what's up?
Hey, brother. I had a question about determinism, free will in regards to God and humanity. So, since God is outside space and time, was he aware that the world and humanity would fall? And if so, I guess it's like the problem of evil, right? I'm just wondering your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I have a whole talk on problem of evil. You could go watch that, but we're not doing the atheist stuff tonight. I specifically said, no offense to you at the beginning, that I'm not doing atheist stuff. But God being all-knowing, which he is, doesn't require that he's the cause of every event. So God can create a world where there are real secondary causes, even if he knows all the events. Just like I can know that my neighbors are planning to rob a bank. It doesn't mean that I'm causing them to do it because I know about it. Spencer, what's up? Thank you guys for the super chats. Appreciate that. I'll read a couple of these in a second. Okay, he dropped off. Bay Pineapple, what's up? Hey, Jamie.
Hey, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Hey, Jay. I'm a recent convert, thanks in part to your videos, so I appreciate you a lot. Got two just very quick questions, and I'll hop off. One, a lot of my friends are Calvinistic, and would you say that every aspect of tulip is just basically a version of monothelitism?
I mean, total depravity isn't necessarily monothelite, because the Orientals, the monophysites don't believe in total depravity, but they believe in a monothelite position, and that the divine will has to kind of overtake the human will. So maybe not the T, but the rest of them maybe. I mean, unconditional election isn't necessarily even about the human will. It's about the divine will. So yeah. T and U don't, maybe LIP do.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then lastly, just to kind of just seek some wisdom from you, my wife is a staunch Reformed Baptist, and I just would like some advice on how to just kind of approach, just caring for her, because obviously my conversion to Orthodoxy has her pretty rattled. So just any words of wisdom from you would be appreciated.
I mean, I think it's going to take time, and she's going to have to, maybe just eventually come around to going to church with you. And you're probably not going to convince her with a lot of highfalutin theological argumentation. So I would just focus on trying to get her to come visit and see what it is, and maybe get her to watch a documentary or two, something like the Icon documentary, which is a pretty soft introduction. Jimmy John, what's up? I gotta get Jamie to buy me espresso. Get me an espresso. Hold on one second. What's up, man? Unmute, Jimmy.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
So there was a recent YouTube conversation between the Orthodox Russian philosopher Alexander Dugin and Nick Land. I don't know if you saw that, but what are your thoughts on Dugin? At the end of that, he seemed to be supporting a Rosicrucian interpretation.
Yeah, I've commented on Dugin probably 50 times. I think Dugin is a Gnostic. I enjoyed. Can you make me a couple shots of that? Thank you. I did not watch the debate. I think Dugin's book, Fourth Political Theory, has some interesting critiques of Darwinism and Western geopolitics, but unfortunately he ends his theories in Gnosticism. And I'm not trying to be rude, but people ask me this, and I've literally commented on it for about 10 years. Jack Dean, what's up? I also interviewed Dugin about 10 years ago too. Jack, what's up? The reason that's annoying also is because Tradcast tried to use this as some way that I work for the KGB. They've been making this nonsense up for like 10 years, that because I interviewed Dugin 10 years ago, I'm somehow a KGB operative. What's up, Jack?
Yo, what's up, Jay? How's it going, man?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, so I just had a couple questions.
Okay.
One of them, the first one, I'm not trying to disagree, I'm just trying to understand.
Okay.
Like, how, if we all came from Adam and Eve, how do we have all these different races? That might be a little bit low tier.
Well, I think there is a form of, natural selection that occurs. And so just like you have like with dogs that have variations of many breeds, but there's some kind of, like archetypal daddy doggy. I mean, it's the same with human beings. Human beings have all kinds of different breeds, you could say, but they're all still human being.
I see. And my second question is about what's going on in the UK with the digital ID. Do you think it's inevitable? Is there anything we can do to sort of push back on it, or are we just fucked?
I don't know, man. I don't know how you get the Fabian socialists out of government. I mean, if they take it over and they kind of entrench themselves, and it's the same in the U.S. I mean, maybe it's not as bad or it's not as advanced down the road. And I mean, I don't understand. Trump is not technically a Fabian socialist, but Trump will not be president in 3 years, and so we'll probably have some swing towards leftist insanity, which will be 10 times worse than what we have now. So it's very difficult to get rid of entrenched bureaucracy that's actually an entrenched kind of shadow state. And that's who really runs things. So I'm not sure what the answer is as to how you fight that, other than that you keep shining light on it publicly and try to sway. If you're going to sway enough mass opinion, even if they have the power and the bureaucracy locked down, like they can't get much done. So we have to just keep shining the light on it. There's really nothing else you can do. I mean, you can't like go to war, like you don't have the ability to do that. And I don't think we're really called to that in some sort of socialist, that would be just revolutionary socialism against revolutionary socialism. So I'm not sure, other than to try to put the kingdom of God first, and then or maybe you can move. I don't know. Can people expatriate from the UK? I don't know. I mean, for example, people in Canada are having very similar situations, and I know people in Canada that are they're wanting to try to leave Canada. So, and people talk about how, oh, this is new in history. We've never had people have been expatriating and fleeing for centuries, forever. I mean, we have expatriates in the chat. We have, new age boomers like Tristan who fled America to set up intentional communities, down in Mexico. He wanted to be a DJ. He wanted to have his own rave community. He wanted to, enlighten and touch chakras, and he did it. And he's been very successful. And anybody can essentially do that if they put their mind to it. Cobb, what's up? I'm just kidding. I love Tristan. He's my favorite dude, even though he doesn't really talk to me anymore. He's kind of like an internet snob. He's like, yeah, I'm too good for you and the internet now. So I guess he doesn't like me anymore. I don't know. Cove, what's up?
Hey Jay, how's it going?
What's on your mind?
So I learned in my catechumen class this week that my church allows monophysites, Coptics, whatever, they are allowed to take the Eucharist in my church. And my first question is, am I cooked? Do I have to stop going to that church? And the second was, if you could just talk a little bit about where do you draw the line when it comes to ecumenism?
Well, the problem is that you're probably not going to get anywhere. And even if you try to convince people of the other position, it's probably not going to work, because unfortunately that is becoming more and more rampant. And I've got bad news too, that it's probably going to get worse. I mean, they're going to push for reunion with Rome. So all this open communion stuff is just another way to push for union with Rome. So guys, I'm aware of the sound issue. It's not my tech. It's not my machine. It's none of that. It is a known issue with OBS. And you can see on the screen right there. You don't have to remind me. You don't have to tell me. I'm well aware. Spencer, what's up, man? By the way, it's open chat. If you guys want to call in, you can call in there in the link in the chat through X. Hit request to speak, and I'll bring you up. Please keep it to the topics. We're not doing tag and atheism today. We're doing pretty much anything else. What's up, Spencer? Where's all the Mormons at? We have Mormon madness for months, and then now they're all quiet.
Hello?
Yep.
Hold on. Hey, Jay, I just have a question. So as a discerning person, I'm in the Catholic Church, to be honest with you. But how do you understand things like I look at like a Pope Kyrillos or Elder Paisios or like a Padre Pio?
Pope
like,
Kyrillos, what is that?
That's the Coptic Pope. He was a former monk. But seeing like holiness in the other apostolic churches, how do you discern these things and understand them?
Well, just like miracle claims, none of those things prove what the true church is because every church has those claims. So that's why ultimately that can't be the deciding factor of what the true church is. It has to be the consistency within history and what the doctrines are. That's literally the only way to do it because every church is going to say, we got nice people over here. Look how holy and humble these men are. Look at these miracles. Look at Mary appearing over the Coptic church. Look at Mary appearing at Fatima. See, it proves Coptic. See, it proves Roman Catholicism. All of those conflicting claims will never decide which paradigm is correct. That's why it has to be a paradigm level argument. Paul, what's up? And by the way, I have multiple videos where I argue for hours with a Roman Catholic who tries to make miracles prove Roman Catholicism. And the simple defeater, which he eventually gave up in trying to refute, was that the Coptics have Mary appear. So how is Fatima approved for Rome when Zaytun, Egypt, is a quote proof for the Coptics? He ended up saying, well, it's a proof for everything. So now it's a proof for ecumenism. Well, what good was it as a proof for Mary appearing as a proof for Roman Catholicism when now Mary appears everywhere and it's ecumenism? Okay, well, then we don't need to be Catholic. If ecumenism is true, we don't need to be Roman Catholic. We could just stay where we are. We're good. By the way, easy refutation of ecumenism. Where in the first 1,000 years of Christianity does anyone argue the ecumenist model of the church as an ecclesiology or an ecclesial structure? Nowhere. Okay, well then there you go. It's a heresy. Proof. Paul, what's up? I'm mute.
Hey, Jay. First, thank you for everything you do. You're a big part in me converting to Eastern Orthodox. And I just wanted to know, like, the church, I think their position on, like, the book of Enoch is that, like, Genesis 6 is that it was the sons of Seth, right? But
there's a lot of patristic debate. There is no one dogmatic Orthodox position on that.
And but what is your thoughts? Do you think it was angels or?
I do, because there's multiple places in the deuterocanonical text that speak of it as angels and speaks of it explicitly as titans. So I think that there were in the ancient world titans. I think Genesis 6 is angels. How that all works, I don't know. I'm just going with the data, not just from Genesis 6 and the book of Jude and Enoch, but there's about 4 or 5 statements in Judith, Lamentations, Wisdom of Solomon. There's different places where you see that. Thank you. And by the way, nobody ever talks about those texts in regard to this, which is interesting to me, because if you were going to debunk the angel view, it seems to me like people would deal with those texts, but I don't even think a lot of people are aware of those texts. We've done streams where we covered that. So unless you want me to get the book out and try to dig up all the different verses, but Vegan Skills, what's up, man? We haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing? I'm you, dog. We can't hear you. Leave me alone, leave me alone. That's a Dave Bobby Jones song. I'm just kidding. You gotta turn your mic on, man. I can't hear you. Michael, what's up, dude? Michael Jackson, what's up?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jay. So I have a friend who is Protestant, and I'm trying to teach him about Orthodoxy. He's taking it pretty well. He doesn't go to a church, so that helps. But I just found out that he is a follower of the false prophet, Kim Clement.
Oh my gosh.
And
oh no.
I'm trying to, I showed him proof that he predicted things wrong, which makes him a false prophet.
Right.
You should outright reject any modern day prophet anyways.
Right.
But is there any other tactic that I could use? Because I found out that he is connected to the Q-Tard thing, and it seems really difficult to get through to him because he just does mental gymnastics to.
Well, would he listen to a more fundamental argument about the canon of Scripture itself? You think, or no? Like, what if you shifted it out of like prophecies and all this gibberish and turned into something like, well, how do we even know we have the right Bible? Or would that not matter? Because a lot of charismatics, they kind of de-emphasize the Bible anyway because they're interested in the gibberish. So.
Yeah, I think that could work. I recommended him some books that you have recommended, actually, and he ordered them on Amazon.
Good,
so,
good. Okay. Well, see if he reads them and then ask him some questions. I also have if you type in J. Dyer Charismatic, there's a good 50-minute video where we kind of go through and refute charismaticism. There's also a longer talk we did here where I talk about charismaticism called Heated Debates, Charismatism and Pentecostalism Refuted. And there's also a video on my Clips channel that might get him to watch it and then ask him questions about divine revelation ceasing. Or no, actually it's not. It's on my main channel. It's right here. And it's called Revelation Ended. Room of God. So I know you said that you kind of tried to argue with him in this vein. The other thing too that might help with like these Pentecostal charismatic types is like, I think eventually they kind of figure out over time that what's happening in those churches is just a lot of emotionalism and feeling. And the problem is that what happens when you don't feel God or you don't feel like God loves you anymore, you don't feel like you love God anymore, right? It turns into a thing. Oh, so I guess what you never had the Holy Spirit, so it's got the wrong emphasis. It's effeminate and it's emotionalism and it's sensationalism. And usually people kind of grow out of it. And maybe you could try reasoning with him in that way. Because I know that because I had a phase when I was really young of charismatic stuff, right? And I'm thinking back to the reason I got into it was I thought that Acts 2 was talking about these manifestations that I was asked, oh, Acts 2, that's what's happening over here at the Pentecostal church. But I noticed after a little while, like the people in the Pentecostal church are retards. They don't know anything about the scriptures. They're actually not into what the scriptures teach. They just are there for some kind of weird emotional experience. And then I started realizing that a lot of these people don't even believe in the Trinity. So like there's something's off here where it's like we're charismatic Pentecostal. Everything's about the Holy Spirit and this gibberish, and which is not talking in tongues. It's actual known languages. And so once I saw that and studied that, like all that stuff fell away. I was like, oh, this is obviously ridiculous. By the way, I forgot. Yeah, guys, there is, I think, a new Sam Hyde show that we put out. It's premiering tonight. I didn't realize it was premiering right now. So be sure after this to go watch the new episode. Let's see which episode went up tonight. Also, we got some new live events I got to tell you guys about too. Is the sound better right now? See, I know that during these live streams, like we had last night when we had the tech problems, it seems like it would be bad for a little bit and then it would kind of go away. Let's see. Sam Hyde Show, the Lost episode. What's the Lost episode about? Oh, this is crazy. This was one of the first episodes that we wrote on. I don't know. I guess it took him a while to film this one with Anthony Constantino, and actually forgot we had done this one. We wrote this one like months ago, probably before the Black Conspiracies one, which is the one I didn't write on, which is the one I would have been the best on because I am a black man who knows a lot about conspiracies. And that's the one episode that I actually missed because I was traveling. We might do a part 2 to that, but this one was written back then around that time. So check that one out, you guys. Right there's a new episode, the Lost episode. That was a perfect title, by the way. Sean, what's up, our buddy Sean? How you doing, dog? How you doing, dog? Sean, are you chewing? What you chewing on, man?
Hey, sorry, bud.
It's all right. What's up?
I wanted to thank you for everything that you've been, doing for everyone over the last decade and stuff. I'm now a reader in the Orthodox Church. Really, really appreciate it. We've been doing
congratulations.
classes. Thank you. Yeah. We've had 20 people baptized here in South Florida over the last year. Literally everyone listens to you. They're all Ortho bros. So yeah,
nice.
Thank you for it's a big deal. I wanted to get your opinion. What is your opinion on possible schism in Orthodoxy? And I bring that up because I've talked to, Bishop Luke, I've talked to, Metropolitan Nicholas, and they're very, very concerned over what's going on with the EP, what's going on with other jurisdictions. There seems to be not just like talk about a push with Rome, but actual like ecumenism going on. You had another caller mention that, even Monophysites are allowed to commune and stuff. And I know inside Rokor's even had problems with the Moscow Patriarchate because, they have with, the blessing of Satan missiles and stuff like that. But not just that, even with like, old Soviet era statues being re-erected. And, the Rokor sent a message condemning that. And then he kind of just ignored it. I think it was the OCA that would care because there's a lot more money behind the OCA. But I just wanted your opinion on where you think that's heading. Because and just like in the weeds here, I know that people inside Rokor are thinking that there's very few people actually standing for the Orthodox faith.
Yes.
And we've had conversations about if ecumenism is true, then why did the martyrs die for what they died for? Why did the confessors die for what they died for? Why did Maximus have his tongue cut out if it doesn't matter?
Right.
So I'm just curious about what your opinion. It seems that something big is happening. I'm not trying to be like end of world and all that stuff, but it does seem like time is, condensing and moving forward and everything else. So I'm just curious about your opinion.
No, in fact, Father Deacon Ananias and I have been talking about this for a long time about how to kind of handle it and how to go about discussing it. It's a very difficult issue because it's going to be very hard on all of us. And that's why I was saying months ago, like, get ready because things are going to get a lot worse for Orthodox we've been saying about for years, by the way, they're going to push this false union.
That's exactly what's happening,
right.
And there's been a lot of pressure, on certain, certain parishes inside Rokor have really kind of fought it. And that kind of seems to be almost really kind of proving Father Seraphim Rose's Rokor seems to be like the last, real stand against this stuff. They're the only ones that are really saying stuff. If you look online, there are a few, Greek priests and Antiochian priests that are saying stuff, against what seems to be coming. But for the most part, you see like, you see the EP, you see Bartholomew, you see GoArch really pushing towards this and even asking for money for different parishes for stuff. So it's difficult, especially, when we're doing like catechisms weekly and stuff, discussing the importance of, the unity of faith, but it's the unity of correct belief. That's literally what Orthodoxy is. That is, the true church.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, it's just letting you know that, people love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And I think big things are coming. So, batten down the hatches.
Exactly. No, you're right. And, it's going to be a challenge, and no, we don't think that everybody who's in different jurisdictions is automatically bad or graceless or any of that kind of stuff. But things are going to get pretty bad in the next few years, and there's a heavy push for this. And we've been trying to warn you guys. And so, unfortunately, no, you're not cooked. You would only be cooked when this really goes into effect and there's an actual schism. So, okay, let me try. The mic is a known issue, as we pointed out. It's right here. It's a known issue that's on Streamlabs page. It's not me. It's not my equipment. Let me try to do the workaround again. Just give me 1 second. Test. Sometimes toggling between monitor off and monitor on is a existing known workaround at this point. The other thing I can do is pause the stream briefly and start it again, which seems to kind of work a little bit. Let's try that real quick. So I'm not going anywhere. Just hit refresh. Okay, hopefully that refresh is a temporary workaround. I want to remind you guys that we have several events coming up, and that's kind of what I'm trying to pull up here. So we have Esoteric Hollywood lecture and talk at a massive film festival. This is, I still forget which town this is in. Mississippi. Legacy Theaters, Mississippi, Esoteric Hollywood. I'm going to give you guys the link. This is the 19th. I'll be doing a talk in the movie theater at a film festival. I'm excited because this is it's our first specific film festival. We've done horror cons and like Hollywood stuff, but this is the first specific film festival. You can get the tickets there, and we will be there with Kevin Sorbo. We will be there with Yvonne Gaultier, who's directed Van Damme films. He's directed Robert De Niro movies. He's directed Morgan Freeman films. Legacy Theaters Film Festival, October 16th and 19th. Films Against the Machine. And let me show you the trailer for Films Against the Machines. Against the Machines, not the machine, not machines. I can't talk.
Now in the fifth generation of warfare, the PSYOP is the primary objective.
How will the audience know it's based on reality if they don't know what reality you're talking about?
We see all these kind of authoritarian measures being adopted in the name of saving the planet.
So if you remember the Out of Shadows documentary that came out, there's a sequel documentary to that will be featured. And the lineup is multiple films in a 3-day festival. And the schedule is here. We'll be watching They Live. We'll be watching Escape from LA. We'll be watching Yvonne Gautier's new movie with Kevin Sorbo called The Vampire Project. We'll be watching, I mean, it's a Close Encounters. I mean, it's a proper 3-day festival. So here's the information if you guys want to join us in, where is this? I keep forgetting where this is. Where is this place? Legacy Theaters in Flowood, Mississippi. Okay. Legacy Theaters, Flowood, Mississippi. And I'll be speaking the 19th. And here's that link right there. There's the information in the chat. And then the tickets are available here at Legacy Theaters. You have to pick the day where it shows me, though. I think it's the way this works. So you have to come over to October 19th here. And then if you scroll down, here's me right here at the film festival speaking at 3:30 on Sunday. Flowood, Mississippi. And here's the link for those tickets right there. 3-day film festival. You can come to any of the days, events, whatever. Get your tickets at the Legacy Theaters website. Flowood, Mississippi, 16th to 19th. I'll be speaking the last day. I think Kevin Sorbo's talking that same day. They'll be premiering their new movie. And then after this, we have Tampa Bay Screams. This is the Scream Queen Costume Festival. Jamie will be wearing a costume entered into the Scream Queen's costume judging. So basically, horror films. If you were at our talk that we did at Tampa Bay Screams convention last year, I did a Esoteric Hollywood talk there. It was a lot of fun. It was funny. Jamie will be entered in to the costume thing, and if you go to tampabayscreams.com, all the information is there. I don't think that one is a ticketed event. We might do a ticketed dinner, but anybody can just come to that. I will have books, obviously, at all these events. So if you want to get your books signed, or if you want to purchase books, you can get them signed. You can get my Esoteric Hollywood 1 and 2 in the shop, by the way, if you can't make it or if you're not going to come to live events. You can also get my 600-page geopolitical book right there. Guys, who hit like and share. Barney Shaw, what's up? Became a member. No one, $5. Don't forget about the Baptist pastor that says the Book of Mormon is more Baptist than the hymnal. That's wild. I send me the link, dude. I need the link. Maybe you did send it. I don't know. Mr. Fist, muted. Tigglebitty, $5. Thank you so much. No one, $2. We was kangs and we was building kangs and shit. Exactly. Today's first caller was one of the best I've had in a long time. It was funny. Albert Smith, $10. Bitcoin Core has me worried. I'm even running knots. It's still going to be possible to have CSAM on the chain. It's actually sad. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a tech dude. I don't know. I know that it's an issue, and I know that people are worried about it, but you know, Bitcoin's been through multiple forks and problems, so I wouldn't be too worried. Nicholas French, $10. Thank you so much. What do we do if the EP says it's time to commune with Roman Catholics? I'm Antiochian. Well, you have to oppose it. Again, it's just like the false union of Florence. You can't have union and communion without the same faith. It has to be in truth. So this is all putting geopolitical stuff above truth, and that's idolatry. It's false. Thor is dead, $10. I read the correspondence between the Tübingen theologians and Patriarch Jeremiah II of Constantinople about the Augsburg Confession of the Lutherans. It's amazing how obstinate Protestants are, and they assert all the same things today. Yeah, you know, I think I read some of that like way back in 2008, and yeah, I remember thinking the same thing. It's like Protestantism, yeah, but Bitcoin didn't crash. It's on a discount. So it's a fire sale right now. It's discount. Get you some discount Bitcoin. By the way, if you're interested in discount Bitcoin, I'm not a registered financial advisor, but you can go to the Swan referral link in the chat. And where is it at? I can't scroll. The Swan link is in the show description. My computer is got too many tabs open here. Let's close this. Close this. Swan is a Bitcoin only company, so you can get started with Bitcoin here. By the way, we signed up a lot more people than I expected to Bitcoin in the last year. I got a pretty nice payout from Swan, which again makes me know they're a reputable company because they did actually pay me out what they owed me. So Swan's good. There are some time limits. You don't immediately get your Bitcoin that day. It takes time to process it. And you can now sell Bitcoin on Swan as well, which is a new feature. They used to just let you purchase and transfer. But I would recommend eventually looking into cold storage, something like a Blockstream Jade or a Ledger or something like that when you are ready to move it off. It's a tariff special Bitcoin red light sale, not red light district, but Kmart used to have red light sales on the red light aisle. So Bitcoin is on Kmart's red light aisle right now. Lamar, what's up, dude? Lamar, your boy Lamar. It's your boy Lamar. I'm not a registered financial advisor. I'm a registered official black man, though. What's up, Lamar?
Oh, sorry. I was just laughing at what you said, man.
It's all. Why are you laughing at the truth? Why are you laughing at truth? That's your problem right there. You're laughing at truth.
I guess I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
The first one is basically, it was broached to me by a Roman Catholic. He was like,
you can't say the Orthodox Church is infallible and stuff like that when they don't agree on certain things, and the concept of oikonomia exists. I don't really know
what does that have to do with infallibility? I mean, that's basically just taking the Roman Catholic idea of every question has to have a black and white answer, and if your church doesn't have the black and white answer like I say, then it's not infallibility. So that's a poisoning of the well, moving the goalpost to say what, quote, infallibility is.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of felt like that. Basically, they're trying to say pastoral flexibility means that we don't know what we're doing or something like that. The next one is basically, if the church can no longer convene a true ecumenical council, how can it ever resolve a global doctrinal crisis?
All right, so they're just not called ecumenical. They're called pan-Orthodox synods, and they can happen. They may not happen as easily as they did when there was an imperium, because the emperor called all the councils, not the pope. Presumably there will eventually be some kind of pan-Orthodox synod, and we have had those. For example, the Palamite synods are essentially authoritative and function in that same way, even though they're not called ecumenical. It's just a term, right? Ecumenical. So people are saying, yes. Amber said, did you write the Minecraft review section in the Sam Hyde show? I did. I've not seen that part yet. Did it come out funny? I don't. What did Sam do? I don't even know what he did in this. This episode just happened like an hour ago, so I haven't seen. Basically, when we write, we kind of put it all into a giant file, and then I have no idea what comes out the other end until Sam does it. So basically, it all goes into the file. Ryan kind of funnels it, and then in a good way. I'm not dissing. Ryan's great, and then Sam kind of Samifies it. He Hydifies it. And by the way, we've got, I think we've got about 5 writers now. 4? 5. Ryan, Pat, Nick, Brendan. 5 writers. So we're doing good now. We're churning it out. And by the way, I hope this sports hole episode ends up including my hymn review, because we just did the Jordan Peele, your boy Jordan, right? Jordan Peele's hymn, which is satanic football cult. I had to throw that in there since we're going to do a sports episode. Hopefully it makes it in. You never know. I'm not bitching. I'm just saying, like, this is the way all shows work, right? Like, writers throw out ideas. You sort of, put them all down. You play with it, and you don't know what's going to make it, what's not going to make it. So, Amber, what did the Minecraft review makes you think? It was eye-opening, interesting. I did not ultimately like the movie Him. I'm not saying it's a good movie. It's a dark satanic film. It is revelatory, and basically it's just saying, look, sports is fake and gay, and that's what we've been saying. But it's almost like admitting it, like sports is fake and gay, but like it's also kind of cool because we was Kangs and we ruled the sports now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think Jordan Peele had a funny skit show. I think he could have made pretty good movies if he wasn't all we was woke or whatever he is. Aside from that, the movie is basically, again, saying if you want to make it to the top of pro sports, you got to be compromised. That's part of the movie. I'm not saying the movie is good and it's what Christians should watch. I mean, it doesn't really have any. It's kind of weird and gross, but I don't remember it having any sex stuff. It wasn't like, it just hints at and shows you that sports is fake and gay. I mean, that was, but it's also kind of, like I said, celebrating it. So, whatever. There's not outright gay stuff. It's just implied. Like I'll give an example. So when the recruit is taken to this intensive week-long compound in the desert to prepare him for the big leagues, right? He's basically studying under the GOAT, the greatest of all time football player, who's played by Marlon Wayans. And yeah, everybody did hate it. It's gross and weird. And then he meets Marlon Wayans' wife or girlfriend, who's this like gross kind of Kardashian chick. And she's like, oh, I sell crystals and they're little obelisks. And by the way, they go in your butt. I'm not joking. That's her line. And this is the girl, remember, who used to date Kanye for a while? She was like, Uncut Gems. She's like the queen of vocal fry. I forget her name. But she dated Kanye for like 6 months when Kanye left Kim. And she she makes crystals that go in your butt to align your chakras, dude. So when the dude gets there to the football cult, she's like, this is for your butt. Jessica Fox, that's her name. This is for your butt, by the way. And you're like, what? And even the dude is like, the young recruit guy was like, what? And then everything gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And it culminates in an actual human sacrifice, in a satanic, openly satanic ritual. This is not my interpretation. This is actually in the movie, which is crazy. I got jobs. By the way, Tristan, shout out to Tristana in the chat. He's always one of the best vocal fry SoCal girl, yoga chick girl impersonators. Tristan is really good at this voice. It's almost like it kind of, it's like natural to him in a way. But like, he's always so good at this. And so the girl, she plays this character just like this. Oh my gosh, you should come to the ritual with us tonight. It's Julia Fox. Yes, I know. I don't keep up with all of Kanye's exes like all y'all do in the chat. I'm sorry I didn't know her name. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you didn't know her name. I knew who Marlon Wayans was though. Can somebody think of her? Uncut Gems. There was one other thing I was going to say about the movie. Oh, and if you're doubting, like the climax of the movie is him standing on a giant football field in a ritual at the base of a giant pentagram. And I won't tell you what happens, but it was crazy. She looks like that character in real life for the last 3 years. That's weird because it seems like when she popped up first talking about Kanye and when she kind of looked normal, if I remember. Let me see if we can find a clip of her doing that stupid. Yeah, she looks like a normal person here. And now she looks like, I don't know what she looks like, some kind of goblin. Okay, here's the original clip, I think. Let's see if this is it.
No, if I'm being honest. I bought jewelry to show appreciation to my friends, to my family. The jewelry represented a thank you, or I appreciated you in this situation.
I bought that jewelry.
It was a gift.
Yeah.
It wasn't symbolic of anything other than love, and it came from a good place of giving.
You won high school, changed the rules to allow college players to option when you was playing.
Of college, younger sister doing this, so I had the
acceleration go so quick.
I mean, it's totally unexpected. I think that's what is really special about it is just because, if you had told me this 5 years ago, I would not believe it. I just did not see this detour coming. So it's exciting, and it also just shows that anything's possible and that, if you're destined for something, even if you're not actively, heading in that direction, it'll find you.
Where is her famous line? Uncut Ja. Is it this clip? I don't even remember. This was like 4 years ago, right?
And I do think that I did find my calling. And, I couldn't have done that if, Josh and Benny didn't believe in me without having any acting experience. They just did based on who I am.
Yeah.
And so it's exciting.
So one thing that seemed to come out is like that.
In the sports arena, I lost it, and my friend found out my money. Somebody stole my $2. You're wild right there. Here we go.
you know, I think it's like there's a full moon, you have to be yourself. Like I feel like so I think very like freaky coincidences, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Good to know. Learn something every day.
But I'm not an athlete. I feel like if I was an athlete and I would probably have more of that.
You probably could ball.
Yeah. I'm okay.
And she got shot. We had a bad, you know, Adam got a basket.
That was the dumbest 4-minute interview I've ever heard. Where does she say Uncut Gems? Dude, that's all I want. Let me type in the meme because that'll pull it up. Uncut Gems. Is this
I
it?
mean, I was Josh
This it.
Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
Right.
On the Call Her Daddy podcast. Yeah, that's the name of it.
By the way, I'll be on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and the whole topic next week when I'm on is just about Tristan. We'll be rehearsing kind of his origin story, how he became a villain, the background to what really kind of traumatized him. And I know it's a weird topic for Call Her Daddy podcast, but you know, Tristan, he's cool with it. I'm cool with it. So we're going to do it. That's a joke, by the way. I'm just kidding. So he popped out. I ran him off again. He keeps popping in and out. Tristan, you're an uncut gem. Mr. Change, what's on your mind, man? What's up, man? Uncut gem. What's up, dude?
Dramatic than it is. Like, I'm
Totally.
not, you know what I mean? It's not
Yes.
like a like type of like.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I just want to ask some questions.
Okay. Okay.
So because you said that that the Orthodox we have to resist the ecumenism.
Yeah.
So because I watched some of your streams and I saw your critique against sedevacantism was basically that I think if correct me if I'm wrong, but
Spit it out, bro.
well, that they can't go against their authority, they can't go against the Pope. So I'm just asking, how can we go against our bishops and they can't go against their bishop or their?
Because it's different systems, bro. Their system is incoherent because everything hinges on the Pope. Ours does not. So totally different systems. Ours is decentralized. You have a duty to go against heterodox, corrupt bishops. So totally different systems. That's why you can't apply the logic and the praxis of the Roman system to the Orthodox. And that's exactly the disconnect there. But thank you for the question. Brandon, what's up, dog? Tristan, by the way, if you want to join me on Who's Your Daddy or Her Daddy podcast, Call Her Daddy podcast, we'll be both you and I are invited on. If you'd like to come with me, Tristan, on Call Her Daddy, we'll be explaining your villain origin story. Brandon, what's up?
What's up, man? Hey, this might be an FAQ kind of question, but how do we get from tag to the Orthodox specific?
Okay, specified at the beginning.
Things like that.
No
like,
uncut
I
jobs.
People make it seem a little more dramatic.
No
than
uncut
it is. Like,
jobs.
not, you know what I mean? It's not like Van Gogh.
Specified at the beginning. No uncut jobs.
Like,
yes.
All right, let's hear Julia Fox again.
What is a muse?
I mean, I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
Do you know what I
The attitude and the vibe of Julia Fox when she says Uncut Gems is the attitude and the vibe that I have when I say no tag. No tag. Okay? It's not because I hate you. It's I specified we're not doing tag today. And I've already done multiple videos of how we get to Trinity from tag. Truth, what's up? Truth. Truth in the house. Uncut Gems. Truth, what's up?
Hey Jay, I had a question about
Fake Rachel. Are you fake Rachel? You sound like fake Rachel. Who are you?
What?
Sounds like Rachel. You sound like Rachel.
No, I'm not Rachel.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to know, what do you think of the GOC? I know you just said you were speaking to the other guest who called in about we have a duty, you know, if I know we're decentralized, but what do you think about the GOC?
Yeah, that doesn't mean you create your own parallel schismatic like ecclesial structure. You can't do that. So there's two extremes. There's the extreme of worshiping authority like popes and papal people do. And there's the other extreme of being a Protestant and I just create my own a parallel ecclesial structure and bishopric whenever I don't like what's going on. You can't do that. You have to fight and remain humble and not create a schism at the same time as people go into heresy. It's a very difficult sailing between Scylla and Charybdis. Julian, what's up? Uncut jams. Uncut strawberry jam. Julian, excuse me. Okay, he can't connect. Zachariah, what's up? Zach Morris. Oh shit, we got a Saved by the Bell alumni. Call me Screech, baby. What's up, Zach? Call me Slater. AC Slater. Zachary Morris, what's up? Unmute. Zach Morris, unmute. I'm AC Slater. Unmute.
Yo, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Hey man, looking forward to coming to Athens and Jerusalem conference,
you know what
man.
I mean? Like,
Really looking forward to that.
Oh crap, I forgot about that. Yeah, I got to promote that too. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, man. We should definitely be getting people down there because it's a pretty sick topic. One of the things that I continually run into with Protestants when I'm engaging with them, and I know you've addressed this in the past, but it just seems to me it's a reoccurring thing for me is this issue of like dialectics where they're it's like they're obsessed with like pinning the material against the spiritual, scripture against tradition, just all these different dialectics. And it especially comes down like when we talk to them about like the Eucharist, different things like saints and relics.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you had like if there was a resource that you could kind of or that you know of that would be kind of dumb it down for them, like on like a 10-year-old level where I could send to them and be like
a 10-year-old level.
Kind of,
I don't know about that, man. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, I don't know that there is a 10-year-old level explanation of dialectics and false either ors. It's just a really challenging. I mean, maybe something like Rock and Sand would be a good book for. I mean, but I don't know of anything dumber downer than that. I'm thinking. I mean, I guess the Protestant evangelical world is actually just like a bunch of 10-year-old kids. I mean, they kind of act like it. So I don't know. Bro. Jub, $5. If things go from bad to worse in the technocracy, would you join a neo-Luddite enclave or stay in the system? I don't know if I'd be a neo-Luddite. I would probably just try to move somewhere rural. You know what I mean? Maybe try to stay the most rural, but I wouldn't be totally a Luddite. I mean, I guess it depends on how extreme the technocracy gets. You know what I mean? Petros, $10. Sorry, Jay. I wasn't on during the beginning of the stream. Thank you for what you do. No problem, man. Appreciate you. David James Flood, $10. Thank you for all your hard work and content, Jay. Thank you, David James. Ego Thanatos, $10. Jay, I've been seeing some stuff about Jamie that you used tarot. Yeah, Jamie had a video where she talked about the symbolism of the tarot deck like 10 years ago. And then you were friends. Yes, I am friends with Wicca Phase. And yes, we are KGB sorcerers, so you can expose me. Alter Void, $10. Very dumb question. Adam was God's creation, made in his image, but Eve was God's creation, made from the rib of Adam. So men are God's children, but women are creatures. Well, they're both image of God, and they're both made in the image of God, but women are the helpmeet to man. So no, it's not an either or. That sounds like we don't deny that women are made in the image of God. Andrew Zhang, $2. Would you consider debating Dr. Blitz debunks? Maybe. I don't know who that is. I've never heard of him. William Money, $5. Brother Jay, I cannot get behind essence and energy. My essence is coffee and my energies are fried. I don't know what to say to that. I guess I'm rethinking all my orthodoxy now that you've said that. Roman Chuck, $10. Jay, I was wondering, is there anywhere I can access the recommended reading list that used to be on your website? I think I just made it private, but I mean, just check out the video. Actually, the recommended reading list is the same in my red book. So get a copy of the red book, and it's in there. I haven't cleaned it up. It's all the links are screwed up, and it looked ugly, so I made it private. Gabriel Campos, $10. I'm super chatting you from heaven. There was an old calendarist rapture. St. Peter said you would be here if you weren't mean to Trent Horn. Maybe you can make up for it in the next rapture. Well, I appreciate you letting me know how I failed and what I can do better. And I want to actually bow down and worship Trent Horn. There you go. I did it. Trent, I honor and revere you with dulia and not latria. Jan Bayer, $6. What is your opinion of Roman Catholic exorcists like Father Ripperger? Are they legit? Are there good videos on it? I honestly don't know. I don't keep up with anything to do with crazy Roman Catholic spirituality. I mean, if there is a valid exorcism that they do, that would be by God's grace, but it wouldn't prove Roman Catholicism. I can tell you that much. It's a deciding factor for me becoming Orthodox. I mean, Orthodoxy has exorcists, and if this is your deciding factor, you're making a huge mistake. Because, as I pointed out, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean to you guys, but I'm just trying to reason with you guys. Like, do you not understand why this can't be the deciding reason or factor in which church is true? Because they all have miracle claims. So I'm not trying to be mean to you, but this is a really kind of silly way. It's a low tier, naive way to think that the religion will be proven by which one has more miracle claims or more crazy exorcism. Like, well, we got 75 exorcisms of the Roman Catholic Church and only 10 by the Orthodox. It's like, that's just a crazy route. It's not going to work. And I would say type in J. Dyer miracles, and you're going to get multiple videos of me arguing with Roman Catholics on this very point. And by the way, somebody uploaded Dyer Central. Thank you to Dyer Central. I forgot about this interview that we did on Father Seraphim Rose's book a couple years ago with Maria Z. You can go to Dyer Central, one of the best Clips channels. And by the way, all the Clips channels are doing awesome, man. You guys are really helping out. The Clips channels are blowing up. They're popping off. They're blowing up on Instagram and on TikTok. One of the TikToks, some of the clips are getting like 100,000, 200,000. So this is great. Views, not followers, but views. So thank you guys so much. And all the Clip channels are killing it. Even on YouTube too. We've got JJ O'Dyer. We've got Jub. We've got Orthodox videos. We've got Orthodoxy clips. We've got Dyer Central. We've got Dyer Archive. We've got, I mean, it's just like clips out the freaking wazoo, dude. And have at it. Be my guest. I'm all for it. I'm just doing the Tate model, right? I made a few calls, called up my mentor Tate. I said, how did you blow up, bro? You gotta do clips. You want a Bugatti? You gotta do clips. Do a lot of clips, you got a Bugatti. It's that simple. Just get people to do clips and you'll blow up, bro. I'm joking, by the way. He's not my mentor. It's a joke. We got Orb Inc. I love it. Dire Vault. This is a new one. Orthodoxy in Russia. We got Jub. Dire Central. Dire Archive. Don't go to that one. It's a gay one. Sandman. New one. I don't know what that one is. We got Unmute Dude. These are awesome. Look at all these. We got Holy Pivot Clips and Lectures. Also putting up my stuff. Work it, girl. Work them clips channels, girl. Everybody, by the way, keeps asking me to respond to this goofus. And if there ever was an internet goofus, it was this dude. I mean, just why would you even be convinced looking at that dude's face? Just look at the dude's face, and why would you be converted to that religion? That's my argument against need God. Dire Central, we did that. Let's see. What else we got? We got them all. Shout out to this black dude here's clipping. Chaos Reigns, clipping another black dude. Myself. We got Nikolai in Korea over here. He's clipping, doing good stuff. Appreciate you, Nikolai. Extra Heavens clipping. Look at all these clips channels, brothers. They're explosions of clips. I don't know what that is. Clippity clip. I put my clip in my 9 and you watch 9 clips. Get it? I'm freestyling now. I put my clip in my 9 while you watch 9 clips. Why wasn't I freestyle rapper in my other life? I am a freestyle rapper in this life. Y'all just didn't even know. By the way, shout out to Patristic Faith, William Gregory, yet another clipper over here. It's a clip explosion. Anyway, you get the idea. And this is so helpful because 1 million people complained. Your streams are too long. I don't have attention span. Well, that's your own fault from TikTok, goofus. Not my fault. I have a 4-second attention span. Your streams are too long. Where's the video that answers my one question that I don't want to search for because I'm lazy? Now all the clip channels have done it for you. Look at that. What do you know? Cass, what's up? You a dork. I am a dork. Proudly, boy. I'm a proud dork. I'm a Chad dork. What's up, man? Cass, unmute. Talk to me. It's the Cambrian clip explosion period of evolutionary. What's the stupid term they have for leaps? Where there's like a leap. I just went blank on that. Yeah, I like John Mouse. We've chatted. Tried to get John Mouse to do an interview, but he wouldn't do it. Punctuated equilibrium. It's the clip explosion of punctuated clipsilibrium. That's what it is. Cass, unmute, man. It's not hard. Just do it. Oh, Cass, unmute, man. Okie, what's up? JB Peltier, are registered black men such as yourself issued Jordans, or is it a tax write-off? It's a little bit of both, but it's based on who you know. It's a who you know kind of thing. Grady Myers, $5. Would you say to someone who says sin came into the world at the fall, then why are there dinosaur bones with cancer? I would just say that's a retarded argument, and we all know that dinosaurs are immune to cancer precisely because of their immune systems. And the science has proven that. Just go read Neil deGrasse Tyson's PhD dissertation. It's on dinosaur immunity to cancer. Jay, I had a quick question about tag. Sorry, bro. Appreciate your super chat, but I'm not doing tag today. And I think you're joking. Visual Dawn, $5. Unca James or Unca Jams? Unca Jams. Either way, I like it. Tribulation Saints, $10. What do you think about Israel's spy program tracking different churches with geofencing? I saw that. That was in Colorado and some other places. Well, if you want to be an evangelical dispensationalist Zionist, that's what you're going to get in your church. So I'm not surprised. I made a video on it. Do you think as Orthodox we should sound the alarm? I think that they probably assume that they're not going to get anywhere in propagandizing Orthodox churches, but it seemed like the main thrust, because I read through the documents, it seemed like the main thrust of it was to try to figure out how to target and promote sort of dispensationalist type stuff and pro-Israel stuff to those people. It could turn into something more nefarious, who knows, but I mean, it's something that we should pay attention to. I don't know how relevant it is to Orthodox world, though. Glory to thee, $5. Whatever happened to that bacon is now solid guy? Was he a one? Yeah, what happened to that Muslim cult guy? Remember him? He kind of he was a flash in the pan. He was popular for like 2 weeks on the internet. So I haven't heard hide nor tail of him. Who knows? By the way, guys, we have our conference coming up. If you want to come to our, this is the other event. I can't believe I forgot the main event. The main event, ding, ding, ding. Athens and Jerusalem Conference, Orthodox Art, Philosophy, and Life, 2-day conference in Florida. Myself, Father Deacon Ananias, Father Vladimir, Metropolitan Jonah, Dr. David Patrick Harry, and Jamie, beloved Jamie, will all be giving talks. Oki, unmute. What's up? And you can get your tickets here.
Yeah, what's up, Jay?
What's on your mind?
I just had a question. It's not an inquiry one. So I'm actually studying theology in an Orthodox faculty, and one of the professors starts talking about evolution, how Dawkins is a smart guy and stuff like that. I had a back and forth with him, but one thing he said is like, not everything that God created has purpose or meaning. To me, that just sounds idiotic, but it doesn't make any sense. But I would like to know what do you think about that? Like, what would you argue?
Yeah, it's a bizarre thing. I mean, that's overlooking the teaching of St. Maximus the Confessor that all of reality has meaning and purpose because it's patterned after the logi. So everything that comes into being has a divine idea, which is the basis for that object. So your professor is absolutely wrong that God creates things with no purpose. That's really such a bizarre statement. I've never even heard of anything like that. It's wild. So he needs to read St. Maximus the Confessor. Let's see. Super chats. Hades Undead, $15. It's blood red of the crypto markets this week. Guys, it's just a discount. Purchase at a discount. Sharks will feed heavy on this flash sale. Exactly. You're just, by the way, if you sell, you're just selling to the whales. Unless you had a leverage position, you're screwed. Well, I didn't have any, I don't do leverage. I just stack, dude. That's what I'm all about. Let's see. We did that. Death Culture, $10. Do you have book recommendations on Chinese intelligence? I don't, because it's hard to find good resources on this. I did write down a text a few live streams back. I don't remember which one it was, where somebody recommended a good book on the history of Chinese intelligence. I have one book on Chinese espionage, and it talks about Bill Donovan, helping to set up Mao's guerrillas and the intelligence network in Maoist China, which is interesting because he's also the founder of the OSS. That, by the way, is declassified at the CIA archives, and it's in his biography. So that's something that nobody knows about or talks about. It's very hush-hush, and I don't actually know what a good source is. Now, the book that was recommended to me was kind of a sort of a very public, normal book on Chinese espionage. So there is definitely something to this. All countries, especially big powers, engage in espionage. It's a fascinating subject. It's also hard to find documentary. I found one documentary on Chinese espionage, and I watched that maybe a year ago. Took a bunch of notes, but the fact that there's not a lot on this makes me think that there's something definitely important and crucial to it. I don't think that China is like the greatest threat to the world. I'm not saying that. That's kind of neocon kind of thing, but it is a threat, and they do engage in espionage. And I think it was a huge mistake when Trump reversed his Chinese exchange student policy, which his first administration, it was a huge deal. He was like, we got to get rid of all these exchange students because they're spies. And then, oh, now it doesn't matter. I mean, it's like, come on, dude. Yeah, of course they're spies. And no, I'm not saying all the exchange students are spies. Well, you retards that take my shit out of context. Oh, he said that every exchange student is a spy. He said every one of them. Every one of them. Would you say that Chinese espionage is clandestine and manipulative like the CIA? Of course. I mean, that's to be clandestine and manipulative is the goal of every intelligence agency, of course. Basically, intelligence agencies are legalized versions of what criminals do. And that's literally out of the mouth of the YouTuber Andrew Bustamante guy. Like he says that in half of his videos. He's like, you want to understand what we do as spies? We do what criminals do legally. Well, there you go. Of course. It would be cool though to get a good grip and handle on, exactly how Chinese espionage works, because I'm sure they have their own kind of philosophy. But the other thing is that a lot of intelligence stuff is just going to function on the basis of universal human weaknesses. So in other words, every espionage outfit, whether nation state or whether corporate, because there's also private corporate espionage, they're all going to use some version of, say, mice, right? Money, ideology, compromise, ego, MICE. Sometimes it's referred to as rice. Instead of money, it's reward, ideology, compromise, ego. So they're all going to have kind of the same pattern and structure. Chinese philosophy might be different. I think they have that, what do they call it, like the 100-year plan. I think that's China's overall philosophy. Russia has, active measures philosophy of how they do their strategy. So different groups and nation states have these philosophies that they have. But I'm not very well studied on Chinese espionage. I don't know much about it. I would like to learn more about it though. Well, and I take that back. I got another book that a military guy recommended to me some years back about Chinese influence and soft power. But I forgot. It's at the other place. So I forgot about that one. That's another one. I forget the name of it though. What did happen to the bacon is solid cult guy? I forgot about that guy. Andrew saying $2. There was an OTA survey that said that you're the number one convert influencer. Yeah, that's like 4 years old. I'm not dissing you, Andrew. But yeah, that came out like 4 years ago, and amazingly, the people that put it out and the OCA was like, it was still how bad I am. So even though he's like the number one guy universally sending people to our churches, how can we stop him? How can we ruin him? And how can we show that he's a bad guy? I'm not joking. That was their whole ethos. So it's pretty crazy. That's why I don't recommend people go to the OCA, because they're going to just act like they're going to receive you as a convert. Then they're going to tell you, well, how bad of a person I am. What's up? John boy, what's up?
Hey, so a lot of books about Chinese intelligence, they write it about Chiang Kai-shek, but then they stop writing it about Mao because Mao's run by the CIA.
Exactly. Yeah, I bet. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so you will find, like, there's a book called Spy Master. It's pretty expensive. But once again, it's about Chiang Kai-shek and his intelligence operations and Secret Service. And then it's kind of similar to how, like, today we don't get anything about the counterculture. Like, it takes Dave McGowan and subsequent people to figure out that, hey, maybe the counterculture was kind of involved with intelligence operations. But they don't admit that. Like, there isn't any admission to that, except for maybe offhanded remarks by, Tim Leary or
Yeah.
whoever.
Right.
But in a similar fashion, I was rewatching Wormwood. You watched that before, right?
Remind me what that is.
That was the story of Frank Olson when he.
Oh, was that like a 4-part Netflix thing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then it's going through the story of how the son of Frank Olson, like, kind of, reverse engineered how they killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically they had come to the conclusion through, some autopsy or something that they killed him. But then simultaneously, that's when the CIA handbook on how to commit assassinations came out. And the handbook on assassinations matched the way that they found that, like, the guys who did the autopsy found out that he had been killed, like he had been hit in the head with a blunt object and then thrown out a window.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the manual, it says, hey, the best way to kill somebody is to hit them with a blunt object in the head and throw them out a window.
Wow.
Right. And so that's what happens with a lot of stuff. And like you were saying about specifically, there's like in China, there's 2 different opposing options that you can't really trust because, like, someone like the Epic Times
Mm-hmm.
is run by Elliot Abrams.
Yeah, it's Western pro CIA type thing.
Yeah, but then also you can't trust the liberals either.
Right.
So that's kind of the state of affairs that we're given in multiple countries because, once again, many people try to parse this out as good guy versus bad guy.
Exactly.
So they're like, I'm going to go into the history of South America and figure out who's the good guy and bad guy.
Exactly. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's perfectly stated, John. By the way, for the people in the chat that are asking or curious, I have actually forgot about this Netflix thing. It's this right here, and I'll give you. This is the trailer. If you guys want to watch it, I'll put it in the chat. It's called Wormwood. In fact, I want to say, I may be wrong about this, but Chris, my publisher at QnA, he might have even said something like this. Maybe this is based on a QnA book. I'm not positive though, so don't quote me on that. But it seemed like it was something like that, or there's some connection between Wormwood and one of the QnA authors or something. I don't know, but anyway, it's something like that. So there that is, if you want to check it out. Now this came up called Spy Master Die a Lie in the Chinese Secret Service, but I don't think that's what John's talking about.
That's the book.
Oh, this is like a this is a book review. Excuse me, this isn't it.
Yeah, that's the book. It should be like about $100 or something.
Okay, here's the actual book. What I pulled up was a book review, and I thought that was a PDF, but here's the actual book. I found it. Thank you. Did you have anything else, John?
No, that's it. We can get back to Tartaria and dispensationalism like we normally talk about.
I want to get back to Julia Fox and Uncut
like
Gems.
that. Like I think people make it seem a little more dramatic than it is. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? It's not like Van Gogh like type of like.
Yeah.
I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
Do you know what?
I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
His muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean, John? Like when I was the muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Cappadocian, what's up, man? Yo. What up, dog?
So first, it's not super serious, but low-key, I respect the love for what's the name again? That album you have in your YouTube banner. So.
What now?
The album you have, the Depeche Mode album.
Oh, yeah. My buddy Mark made that banner. I forget what album he put up. Was it Violator? Which one is it?
Yeah, Violator.
Yeah, Violator is a classic. So it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, but now here's a real thing. How do you feel that that's one of Fantano's favorite albums too? Like,
Who?
just Anthony Fantano.
Oh, I've never actually paid attention to that guy. I know. I remember Sam Hyde made a diss rap song about him, but I've never actually watched anything from Anthony Fantano, so I don't know anything about him. He's like a hipster record review person? Is that what he is? Yeah. By the way, shout out to Mark, my buddy Mark, who is a pretty accomplished videographer, filmmaker, and documentary person. He's a very talented editor and filmmaker type dude, and he crafted this amazing banner, which if you look at it really close, it's got all kinds of really funny, cool things in it. You've got a Funko Pop. You've got, I think that's a pile of trash, which is funny. I actually just now realized it's a pile of trash. And you've got Francis, Soros, Rockefeller, Klaus. You've got Wilford Brimley as a boomer with dollar sign eyes. You've got a coof, somebody holding like you got puppeteers. You got a soy face with a Crowley soy face with a pizza. You've got surveillance cameras. You've got a reptilian Zuckerberg. You've got a UFO, Mason symbol. You've got gnomes for the gnome Hyperborea. You've got philosophers. A couple things I can't even make out. You've got a postcard from Russia, a church fathers set, CIA documents, C.S. Lewis, Dostoevsky, John Candy, Twin Peaks, Black Lodge, John Cusack, Say Anything, Violator. I think the fish is supposed to be like Tennessee or the South or something. And by the way, he buffed up my arms as a joke. That's not, I'm not that buff. He did it because he thought it was funny. You got some chalk and you got some some steaks. I forgot what Jamie's on here. I think therefore I unmute. I actually forgot what all stuff Mark put on here. It's pretty awesome. Shout out to Mark Rowe. By the way, he's accomplished videographer for some of the biggest names out there in Hollywood. Just to let you know. This was actually created by an actual high-level top editor. I'm not joking, like actual cinematography guy. And he is also the creator of the clip for our conference. Let's see, where is the channel? Shout out to Mark, good buddy of ours. Let's see. Man, you just can't find anything on the freaking search on here anymore. It just doesn't even work. If a channel doesn't have like thousands of subscribers, they almost don't even come up anymore. Know what I mean? Oh, this is it. So this is our, I thought he put the trailer on here. It's not on here. Let's see. Oh, I know. It's on X. That's right. Just want to show you guys this real quickly. Our buddy Mark, same guy that made the banner, made the conference trailer that everybody thought was really cool. Where is it at? Oh, and props to Jim Bob. I'm going to play that Jim Bob clip too. He did really good in that debate with that Mormon goober. Dang, where is it? Bloody freak your buddy. Bloody freak your buddy. Dang, where is it? Crap, dude. Maybe it's in my favorites. It's so difficult to keep up with all of the different things you have to promote on every show. I'm not trying to be a bitch about it. I'm just saying it's like every show you have to remember like 20 different things to promote. And I don't have the best memory for that kind of stuff. I can remember what I read, but not all this stuff. Where's it at? Do 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 do. Can't touch this. Do 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 do. Can't touch this. Well, I guess I didn't save it to here either. Shoot. Let's try media. Oh, here it is. Okay.
What is the relationship between reason and revelation, between philosophy and faith? For the Orthodox Church, the answer is clear. Christianity was not born in the lecture halls of Greek philosophers, but in the encounter with the living God. Yet the Church did not ignore philosophy. She baptized it using the language of reason to proclaim truths that reason alone could never reach. So, what is the Orthodox view of philosophy? What role does human reason play in the life of faith? Does Orthodoxy believe in natural theology? And what is the difference between knowledge about God and knowing Him? Join us for an unforgettable conference exploring these timeless questions and encounter the answer, not just in words, but in worship, in truth, in the experience of the Holy Trinity. Come and discover the true faith, the faith that established the universe.
So hopefully that answers the question to Lockstep. Where can I get information about the events? There's that conference right there. I think you're talking about the conference, right? It's in the link is in the show description, dog. Yeah, Mark made a really cool trailer. You can't, these stupid Eventbrite links are too long to put in the chat. That's really annoying. I don't know why they do that. Even if you type, like, try to get the actual event URL short link, it's still too long for putting in the chat, which is ridiculous. Anyway, so we got I can't even keep up with all the events. I'm gonna have to make a post on the website, I guess, to like keep track of events. So you'll just have to watch this whole stream, and then I list all the events. The events are in the show description, dog. All right, who's next? H. Brosy, $5. The method. How did I miss this obvious joke? The method of Chinese intelligence is obviously rice. That was so simple. It was genius. Thank you to H. Brosy. Me too, $6. Do you have any thoughts on Dan McClellan and his Noah Ark literary creation story? Dan McClellan is a soy Mormon who wears superhero costumes and t-shirts. So I don't have many thoughts on Dan McClellan. We did a whole live stream on his deconstructing stuff. We did two. We did a live stream on deconstructing Christianity on Cotel's channel and on my channel. Cotel's Dr. David Petrigree. William Money, $5. If Deckard is a replicant in Blade Runner, what is the basis of his repentance? Codes can't feel guilt. I don't think Ridley Scott thinks this shit out like he's a Christian, dude. It's not that thought out. So Ridley Scott doesn't care about human anthropology and whether code can repent. I mean, alien movies have been promoting the idea that AI is alive and xenomorphs mutate out of black goo. I mean, it's not consistent, dog. You looking for consistency in the wrong place. Got a hold of the wrong stuff. Vincent, did you ever read St. Vincent Loren's Commonatory? I did back when I was a Roman Catholic, actually, many, many years ago. I don't know if I finished it, but I read a good bit of it. Welcome to the new subscribers. John van der Schweet, $3. Here's I don't have any question, but here's $3 for some butter mints for you and Jamie. Thank you so much. Also purchased some butter beer with Harry Potter. What's up, man? Ethan? Ethan. You owe me a Gucci suit, Ethan.
I don't make enough for that.
That's from Mission Impossible.
Oh. Yeah, I was just wondering if you could give more context around why Catholicism's argument on Jesus' play of words with Peter and the rock isn't a good one. And I don't know. I mean, they just like to use it as claim to be as the true church.
I mean, it's all built on one verse, which is kind of weird to build your entire system and structure on an arbitrary interpretation of one verse. Because as we point out in Matthew 18, 2 chapters later, Jesus basically says the exact same thing to the rest of the College of the Apostles. So all of the powers that Peter has as the office of the keys is also stated and extended to the entire college in Matthew 18. Binding and loosing, etc., which is the office of the keys. And the other things that come along with the office of the keys, which is having jurisdiction as a bishop, preaching the gospel, offering the sacraments, etc. The office of the keys is the whole college. There's nothing specific to Peter that isn't extended to the rest of them. Roman Catholics then say, oh, but in another passage he says, I prayed for you, Peter, that your faith not fail. Okay, where does that give the impression that all of Peter's successors have infallibility? I mean, Roman Catholics themselves now admit that Honorius apostatized, was a heretic. Okay, well, did Jesus' prayer not apply to Honorius? So, I mean, the same arguments can be made for other bishoprics that extend from Peter. Peter is the one who created the church in Antioch. Oh, well, okay, why doesn't Peter's unfailing faith apply to the bishop of Antioch? Oh, well, it only applies to Rome. Why? Because Peter died there. I mean, it's just stupid, man. It's like, it's all built on arbitrary, because Peter died there. And that's literally all they have. So it's dumb. Mr. Change, what's up? Last one. Mr. Change, what's up, man?
Hello, Jay.
Uh-huh.
So,
go ahead. Come on.
The CIA. So I don't know, maybe this is like a retarded question or something, but why did the CIA release the declassified documents to like the entire world when we're not supposed to like know some of the things that are written in there?
Well, a lot of things that they declassify, there's like a time period of when they declassify it, so they don't care anymore. And sometimes they want you to know what they were up to, and sometimes they don't care. So there's a lot of different reasons why things can be and have been declassified. So there's not a one-size-fits-all answer to that. There can be all these different things. I tend to think that they even declassify like stupid New Agey stuff on purpose to mislead people. So think of, for example, there was a supposed declassification a couple years ago of the CIA declassified a document talking about Earth pole axis shift theory, right? Which is some bullshit that's been in the conspiracy world for 30 years. Okay, I think that maybe they declassify some of these things because they want to mislead, or it's misinformation, or sometimes too things are declassified that are really innocuous, right? It's just something that for whatever reason they declassified or they classified 20 years ago. Maybe it was an author that was suspicious. Maybe it was an article or something that talked about something that they didn't want talked about, and then they declassified it because they don't care anymore. I mean, or it's a document that was just part of a bundle of documents that's just not really that relevant. The one that was talking about like ancient civilizations and pole shift. This is the one that all the Tartaria people cite. Oh, like, there was a CIA document that mentioned a forgotten civilization. Yeah, well, so what? It was one guy wrote a thing that mentioned catastrophism and pole shift stuff. That doesn't mean it's true. So it's kind of naive to think there's different levels to this, right? But I mean, I think also, I mean, hopefully that's a good enough answer. I don't know. Last guy, Lulian, what's up? Tartaria Rising. Lulian, what's up? I'm mute.
Hello.
Hello, what's up? What's on your mind?
Hi. First of all, I want to thank you for everything I have learned from you. It's been a lot that I have learned from you, and probably you will be the same even from now on. And secondly, I have a question, difficult question. I have quite solid reasons to believe that the Romanian Orthodox Synod and the Patriarch have canonized an occultist.
An occultist?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, I'm talking about Arsenie Boca.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of him?
I've heard the name. I have not read anything about this. I'm not familiar with any of this. So what is the allegation of what type of occultism? What do you mean?
Well, he was known ever since high school to have practiced hypnotism, and people reported that he was practicing yoga, and he was ordained as a priest because women around the monastery where he was a monk used to come to him because he was doing fortune telling for them.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just it sounds a little much. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but H. Brosy, what's up? The Cheap Chimp $10 says, "Oh, you got wrecked." Yes. I don't know if he means me or somebody we were debating or what, but thank you, Cheap Chimp, for wrecking me. What's up, H. Brosy? You want to unmute? Or Father Deacon, did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, sorry, I'm at the
Go ahead.
cathedral, so I won't.
Are you at the cathedral doing occult rituals and hypnotizing people right now?
This is smear campaign. There's like a group of Romanians that basically have sympathies to the Ceausescu regime.
Oh, they're like communist sympathizers?
They're communist, yeah.
Okay,
and
okay.
These people, I mean, listen to what she has to say. That the church got it wrong and canonized. I mean, it's a joke. Like, just get rid of those people. Like, you couldn't even talk to them. But it comes from the fact that, because he was outspoken against the Ceausescu regime, and some of the, obviously, communist sympathizers started spreading trying to slander him and stuff like that. And so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. That's interesting. I figured there's probably more to the story, but H. Brosy, did you want to say something?
It was good, Jay. Hey, I just wanted to say, I remember a few weeks ago, I said I was going to call in and, make a statement or something on the whole dating thing. I'm gonna skip past that a little bit. Somebody earlier said something, I don't know if it was a super chat or if it was up here, about, actually, it might have just been a few minutes ago. I'm sorry, I had a really long day. About you, OCA or whatever, not liking you and, making comments about you specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I hear that, I kind of relate it directly to, what was going on a few years ago, early in the, this is going to sound dumb at first, but trust me, I'm going to tie it all together. like early on in the MAGA movement when Trump made that statement that like they aren't really going after him, they're coming after his voters, his constituents or whatever. And that's exactly how I feel about this, because the reason like so many of us young guys, because I'm not talking about like older or middle-aged, but I'm talking about younger guys specifically. The reason why we support you so much is because we just haven't had this, especially like from a theological basis. Like most people that are in this space, they tend to be mild-mannered, or maybe they do have this side of them, but they just choose not to show it. Like maybe they're afraid of backlash or whatever, or they're scared to make comments on race or gender issues and talk about the problems that women bring with their feminism and all this other shit. And so whenever I hear that, it's not even that it's necessarily a Jay Dyer issue. They're talking about every single last one of us, that regardless of what they...
Right.
Yeah, was that you or FDA?
No, that was me saying, yeah, that's right. He's gone.
So no matter how many times they say it,
right,
no matter what it is they accuse you of, and obviously, and you've talked about this publicly, like you were actually having problems before you even got into the church.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, that's just further proof, because some of the stuff that you were saying prior to becoming Orthodox, and you saying said was kind of preventing you from entering early on. Well, there's a lot of young guys that feel the exact same way that you did back then.
Yeah.
So
right.
Just like I said, it's whenever I hear that, it's not just about Jay Dyer. It's about every single young guy.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
call themselves a Dyer, Ortho Bro, or whatever. So that's all.
Well, yeah, and even if you don't have any association with my materials or whatever, you're gonna have the same types of issues. So you can just take me out of the picture. It's not a me issue. It's a broader global cultural issue of people who want Orthodox authenticity versus people who are ecumenist and politically motivated, Americanist, subject to other things. It's not the entire DOCA. It's basically like 2 or 3 bishops that want to go in the direction of being recognized by the EP and GOARC, and they want a standard single American jurisdiction. It's really not even, it's none of this even theology. It's all to do with geopolitical stuff. That's what dominates all this. So all you nerds into theology, they don't even realize, like, you're not, people that are really pulling the strings and really running things, they don't care about theology, man. You're all interested in reading Palamos and all. They don't care about that, man. The people at the State Department, the people at the CIA, people who set up all the schism in Ukraine, Fordham University people, they don't care about theology, man. You got to get wise to soft power, to geopolitics and all. That's what's really going on. It's nothing to do with theology. Indian Marine, $1. Jay, I've been listening to you for a while. I was a non-Chalcedonian, and now I'm inquiring into Orthodoxy. Can you explain the Old Nicene reference? Yeah, just read My Endorsed Byzantine Theology. It's a great book, and there's a whole section on that. Let's see. 82, $2. Will you put your books on Audible? I don't know if I have the energy to do that. Speaking of, by the way, you guys know you can get Speechify, and no, I don't have any referral link for Speechify, but Speechify will read to you any book, and that's better than no books. And by the way, they'll do it in Snoop's voice. Speechify has the option of Gwyneth Paltrow's voice, Mr. Beast's voice, Snoop's voice, and like generic guy voice. So all you slow boys now can listen to any book. And by the way, I'm doing this because when I'm on long journeys, because I don't fly on the plane anymore, when Jamie and I are driving to any of our conferences with Father Deacon or whatever, I might just listen to one of these boring ass Quigley books via Speechify. And that's because now I'm getting older. I'm just now hitting 25. And my eyes get strained after all of these years of reading. Basically, I've been reading since I was a 1-year-old baby. And my eyes are getting strained. So I might just start listening to books. But I think I put in my time. I've read more than most of y'all will in your entire lives. And I'm not bragging, that's just a fact. I spent most of my life reading, apparently. Because when I ask people and when I talk about like what I think was normal ways of living, turns out like most people don't even read a book in a year. And I've read more books than I can remember. So I think I put in my time. I think I'm entitled now to listen to books if I want to. You're right. I'm not 25. I just hit 30. Chaz Vance, how come the Trinity icon isn't making an icon of the Father? I'm not sure which icon you're referring to because there's several heterodox Roman Catholic Trinity icons. And I would just say avoid any of those that are not like canonical Orthodox icons. So I'm not specifically sure. There's a lot of different ones that are called, quote, Trinity icons, Filioque icons, etc. So don't know which one you're referring to, man. But we're trying to close it up. Trying to close up shop tonight. Thank you guys. Not going to take any more calls. I got several more super chats to try to hit here. Make sure I hit them all. By the way, did the sound get better? If you guys want to support the stream, you can head over to chalk.com. Thank you guys in the Twitter. Thank you guys. We're gonna call it a night. Remember to go watch the Sam Hyde show. New episodes up tonight. Bro, I just hit 16, man. I just had my sweet 16. What are you talking about? I'm 16. Stop asking. It's rude. Be sure to head over to chalk.com. Use promo code J40. That's JAY40 to get 40% off all those great chalk products. 40% off. You can't beat it. Boost your testosterone naturally with chalk.com. Use the promo code JAY44LIFE, JAY44LIFE. If you want to get a recurring subscription and a better discount, get chalk coming on the regular. It is a real working product. I assure you, we've been using chalk. They've been our sponsors now for almost 5 years. So be sure and you go into the archives. We've covered iconography. We've covered all these icon questions for the last freaking 5 years, man. Just go find the archives on it. Got to make sure I don't miss a super chat. Cody, $10. My brother and Yakub, thank you for your Bitcoin info. You got me into it. I'm learning about it. Breakdown that you did of the Bitcoin Standard book was goated. Thank you. That was a great podcast, I have to say. I'm glad we finally got to it. I enjoyed Saifuddin's book, Bitcoin Standard. It's basically the first half of the book's critiquing Keynesian economic theory. I gotta have some music for these super chats. Let's get some music on. It's time to chill. Get a little chill vibe going. Some sexy spy music. Chill vibe. Sign up at Chalk, y'all. This is necessary. Eddie Lift says, Jay, read your books in your own voice. I mean, it is a sexy voice, we gotta say. Esoteric Hollywood, page 1, by Jay Dyer. Hollywood is full of degenerate sickos. You like that? You like that? Chaz Vance? No, we did that. Cast, $5. Please add me back to the space. It didn't work. I tried, but I already canceled the space. Sorry about that. I wanted to talk to you about the CIA. I clicked off to check a message at the wrong time. Well, just call in next time. We do streams pretty frequently, Cast, so if you want to call back in anytime. I do them all the time. Ignatius, $3. Is being a furry idolatry? Yes. Is being a furry incompatible with orthodoxy? Yes. Absolutely. It's gross and dumb and it's bizarre and weird and abnormal and unhealthy. No furries allowed, dog. Get it, dog, furry. Son of Benjamin, $7.77. Jay, a friend recently read Nietzsche. He's struggling with his Roman Catholic faith. I don't blame him. It seems reading Nietzsche turns people into spiritual, intellectual Skittles people. I never thought about that, but I guess it could. What do you think about Nietzsche and Hinterwelt? I had grad class on Nietzsche. I've read about 3 Nietzsche books. I don't know what Hinterwelt is. I also had 2 years of German. Hinterwelt, what is this? It's a no wonder I don't know. It's a Nietzschean neologism. It means behind the world or the other world. Refers to metaphysical religious ideas that devalue this world. Oh, that. Yeah. Well, I think that it's a false either or, because this world has value in Christianity because Christ stepped into time and space. He took on human nature. So the created world is valuable, but it's not the highest value. So if you hate the world and degrade it, that's Gnostic. But if you worship the world, that's idolatry. So there's a balance where we put it into hierarchies. So I would just say it's a false either or, and I would disagree with Nietzsche's concept. Guys, again, head on over to chalk.com. Good news is books are supposed to be coming out. Esther Hollywood 3 is supposed to be shipping in 6 days. Cross your fingers that there won't be any more delays. I've not heard that there's any more delays, so I'm thinking that's a good chance it's going to ship in 6 days, thankfully. All right, everybody have a good night.